demigod Kratos and use your legendary weaponry to overcome obstacles in a visceral delight. Clearly, the two games shown look very different, but the gameplay design underneath both of them shares common DNA. To talk about combat evolution, we first need to look at the past. What was the traditional core of God of War's combat? For over a decade, the series' combat has focused on a few central pillars. Fundamentally, we wanted to adapt the intensity and finesse of Japanese action games to the West. In doing so, we aim to expand the audience by increasing the accessibility of gameplay and bringing over-the-top, bombastic presentations. Kratos was a character all about offense, and the power fantasy of our combat represented that by making fighting your enemies feel like playing with...
These are not fucking... These do not fit together, I gotta be honest.
...your food. And of course, all of this was done from a...
You cannot have intensity and fun for all and finesse, you know? You can't. Like, you can say that you will do it, but they're gonna fucking push each other aside. Because, you know, as soon as intensity ramps up, the fucking accessibility plummets down a fucking cliff.
Hold back, game-controlled camera that framed all of the action in a way that was larger than life. Each game in the series built upon the foundations of the original by refining combat mechanics and escalating spectacle to epic proportions. With this new God of War, however, the overall vision demanded a more grounded and intimate tone. This applied to all aspects of the game, including combat. And there was so much new with this vision. The Norse mythology, a new melee and range weapon in the Leviathan axe, and a new player-controlled close camera that never cut. And of course, I'm skipping over a brand new companion. If you want to learn more about that, and missed Hayato Yoshinomi's talk yesterday, check out his talk, Raising a Trace for Battle, when it hits the GDC Vault. So the idea behind the new camera was to create a more visceral experience that brought you closer to Kratos, and to make the combat more deliberate and unflinching. This would fundamentally change the combat experience of the franchise. And it had to be better. Well, that meant two very clear things. We knew we couldn't refine and iterate on the combat formula that existed like previous titles had done. Instead, we would have to reimagine combat for this new style of game. And it would have to be...
Is this going to be a retread of the first
one? In this new style, we also wanted to retain the core identity of what fans know and love about God of War's combat. And these goals drove us insane, right? Like, at the time, these two things were completely at odds with each other. Fulfill an offensive power fantasy with a fast and intense action, before a more grounded game with a super close camera. And it was really funny seeing people's response when we eventually showed the game for the first time at E3. You know, people thankfully responded really positively overall.
Have they not played God Hand? Have they not fucking played it? Come on.
Many kept saying,
you have examples.
If you pull the camera back, you can't really see anything. The internet was experiencing what we agonized over for years. But let's roll back a bit to understand what I mean by that. To know why these two goals were a problem, we have to dive in a bit deeper into the tangible elements which define the combat identity of God of War. Now, obviously, you're doing a lot of things while playing the game, but I'm focusing on what you're doing most of the time, which is fighting basic grunt enemies such as the Draugr. At the heart of God of War's combat design for moment-to-moment gameplay lies four tenets. Responsive and combo-oriented gameplay leads to varied and exaggerated enemy hit reactions.
Fucking combos.
Satisfying.
I was thinking about combos with regards to fucking Streets Rage 4. Well, I guess it's not as much of a problem if you're building a game around one character, but it really bothered me because there's this fucking idea that you can just slap combos into any game. Oh, you know, it's like one of those like simple systems, but they're not. They funnel, they fucking, it's like a vortex, you know, like it sucks all your game design into that void of combos. Because some characters are naturally going to be better at combos, you know, more mobile characters with faster attacks, that kind of stuff. Some characters are inherently, and some playstyles are inherently going to be bad for combos, like fucking grapplers and shit. So by emphasizing combos, you're inherently privileging the characters that are like fast and, you know, quick. And as a result, you have two choices. Either you make the grapplers kind of shitty, or you make or you kind of balance them in a way that, in the same way that you balance normal characters. I don't know. How would you have a purposeful scoring system in classic Mega Man? Chaining is janky and exploitable. There's a force damage based. Chaining isn't janky and exploitable. Just have like a system of chaining where you kill an enemy, then you kill an enemy, you know, the chain meters start dropping, you have to kill more enemies, and the respawning enemies don't give you more chain, they only keep your chain going. So you can kind of funnel respawning enemies to specific spots. Or something like that. Or like, if you re-kill the same enemy twice, it's not gonna give you any more chain points. It's just gonna keep your meter up, basically. So you cannot gain anything for it, right? And it's not gonna give you a score, obviously. There's force damage. There's force damage. There's force damage in Mega Man. Maybe one, right? Maybe one. So you wouldn't... I guess for bosses you would... you could do like a Ketsui type of thing where during the bosses your chain ticks down instead of ticking up. But then that would funnel the player towards DPS races. But the bosses in Mega Man are DPS races anyway, right? So who gives a shit? Mega Man Zero has a ranking system. We could turn that into score. Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of ways to do it. I'm not. Okay. I guess the problem is, right, with ranking, you can have like, you can have a limit. You know, if you hit S rank, the goal is to hit S rank. So if you, for example, take a hit, you can fail the goal. With scoring, oftentimes the score you can get for example, grinding a single enemy is not going to compensate for like whatever score you lost by getting hit.
And powerful attacks move you forward physically through the space. Kratos can handle and often excels when he fights multiple enemies. And finally, gameplay and controls are accessible, hassle-free, and are on the player's side. Now, with that in mind, most other action games with similar types of camera perspectives are designed to focus primarily
No God hand. I see.
on 1-versus-1 combat with a lock-on system, not on fluidly fighting multiple enemies together. They tend to have combat loops which promote relatively defensive and cautious player behavior compared to traditional action games, as it's harder to see your surroundings. The player's attacks typically don't translate them forward through the space in order to help with the camera framing, and it keeps combat aimed at gauging the distance and timing of attacks as opposed to manipulating fun enemy hit reactions. And this is all for good reason, right? Players love these games, and these types of combat systems make sense for a closer camera since the combat is designed around it. Unfortunately, this was not the case for us in our combat identity. We needed to stick to our special ingredients if we wanted to deliver a different but true God of War experience. We needed players of all skill levels to be confident and offensive, and it didn't seem like this was possible with the proposed change. In fact, in the beginning, many of us on the combat team were really opposed to the new camera for this very reason.
I really don't understand what the problem is. Like, I'm trying to visualize what is the problem. What about the camera makes it impossible to create this kind of offensively driven, like, aggressive playstyle? Because like all the tools are there, right? You have. That's not what drives these kinds of playstyles, right? What drives these kinds of playstyles, like enemy behavior, hit stun, how like your move properties and shit. It's not the fucking camera's position. If anything, the fact that the camera is pulled in, you can have like the God hand effect, where now you have a good reason to actually push the enemies in front of you. I don't know. Maybe like it's something I'm not thinking of. Maybe it's something I can't like account for that gave them trouble, or maybe they are just like trying to make it as frictionless as possible.
But the vision was set, and after
But when he's talking like, oh, you know, this is like everyone's against this camera idea. It didn't work. It doesn't make sense. It's clashing. I just don't understand what he means. Like, why would the God of War camera not be like how? I wish he explained how exactly it goes against it. You know what happens on a mechanical level.
many initial months of squirming and fighting about it.
I feel like aggression could be catered more frequently when you have access to all the enemies at once. When you can only see... I don't think that matters because... well, think about this, right? Think about... Okay, aggression is not... They don't just want, like, to allow aggression, I think. They want, like, to encourage aggression. And to encourage aggression, you need strong limitations. It's like saying, okay, maybe you can encourage more aggression if you can attack in both sides in a 2D beat 'em up. But that's not you could encourage aggression. Yeah, you could like have the Streets Rage 1 thing where you fucking jab and turn around to hit everyone. That's kind of aggressive technically. But the problem is by doing that you're not giving the players any limitations, and you're not giving them positive reasons to actually be aggressive. So if anything, I think like having this kind of limitations, you can't see anything behind you. That only encourages players to be more aggressive with how they, for example, grab and throw enemies. You know, I think maybe what they were doing, they were focusing too much on like attacking enemies directly, and they weren't thinking about the grabs just yet. Because I believe they started like thinking about grabs later on, how to like fucking manipulate the enemy positioning and shit. Because if you have this camera, it's not that you can't have aggression, it's you need a lot of tools to manipulate the enemy positioning, is the problem. The problem is the game wants to have 3D combat scenarios with a close camera, which ends up easily leading to analyzing enemy reactions over combos and crowd control. 3D combat scenarios with close camera, which... Oh, you mean like a massive... massive enemies or something like that? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I really wish he went into examples, because I'm kind of curious what kind of problems they would run into with this camera.
We trusted in the vision and committed to the thought that we were going to make it work. And it wasn't easy. Our early attempts of making the camera mesh together with combat did not go well, as you might imagine. Frankly speaking, it was terrible to play, and it was almost impossible for players to make sense of what was going on around them. I mean, can you guys tell what the enemies are doing in the video? Because I sure can't. Players just panicked, evaded around constantly, and mashed buttons without a semblance of strategy because the combat systems were fighting the camera in a way that made gameplay extremely clunky.
I think the problem here is, I think the problem is not the fucking again, I don't think it's the camera. I think it's just that, based on the video at least, it doesn't seem like there's many ways to influence the players, the enemy's position on the screen. So there's no, like, for example, ways to group them properly, like with grabs and throws and shit. There's no way to. I know in Ragnarok you have the spear that like sucks enemies in, and that seems like a good fit for this kind of camera system. And then on top of that, you also have fucking ranged enemies that spam projectiles, which is kind of fucking weird for a game that you want to be where you want it to be aggressive. I guess it could work, but yeah, like, I don't know. And the problem is, he's just showing a shitty player. I mean, what could
Almost impossible.
this looks... See, the problem is, this looks more like third-person shooter, except you don't have a gun in terms of, like, the gameplay. Because this literally looks like a third-person shooter.
In the video? Because I sure can't.
The enemies are barely even moving in
Players just
to attack you. They're just, like, standing around. Maybe sometimes kind of, like,
constantly
shuffling around you in a circle.
mash buttons without a semblance of strategy.
And they're even programmed to fucking run away from you. What do you mean? Of course it's not going to fucking play. It wouldn't even play that well in, like, okay, if you zoom out the camera, you can keep track of what's happening around you, but it's not going to play like a fucking aggressive beat 'em up. It's going to play like a kind of shoot 'em up type of thing, right? Like a fucking twin stick or some shit. Except instead of shooting, you go up and attack. I don't know.
The combat systems were fighting the camera in a way that made
this stuff really annoys me because it feels like developers are fucking. Well, especially with camera systems, it feels like they fucking sacrifice fun mechanics and fun dynamics and fun, like, perspectives just because they approach it from the wrong fucking side.
Extremely clunky. To solve this, we had to reevaluate our combat late into the fall of 2016 and go forward with the strategy. For players to play confidently and offensively, we needed to remove as much clunkiness as we could. After the initial adjustment of getting used to the game, the difficulty needed to come from the game itself and not the controls and camera. If we didn't get this right, players would be discouraged to experiment with our combat.
See, but that's another problem. Okay, the difficulty comes from the game itself, not from the controls and camera. Okay, so what does that mean? The enemies have to, like, actively avoid your fucking attacks? I don't know.
Maybe even rely on the pattern of play that they're used to in some of the games I showed before.
Then God Hand also puts the player in the middle of the camera view more often. Let's see, more useful space. Well, yeah, with God Hand, the big thing is, like, the enemies are fairly slow, and they're almost all melee oriented. You have some range attacks, like what are they called? The Mohawk dudes, the fat dudes that launch into you like a cannonball. But for the most part, it's very melee. The enemies try to get into range. They're always kind of close-ish to you. You don't have this fucking giant, massive arena with projectiles coming at you from every single side. Because it's not even a beat 'em up at that point. That's like a fucking, like I said, third-person shooter.
So, with these challenges and goals framed, we broke down the core combat systems and identified the aspects...
Because, in a beat 'em up, this would make sense. In a beat 'em up, this would make sense. Okay, the enemies are far away. They're not a threat. It doesn't matter. I think he means the difficulty is supposed to come from player-enemy interactions, where the camera isn't a big factor.
Camera meshed together with combat didn't...
Oh, yeah, but here it's like... it depends on what kind of interactions is what I mean, what I want to know, because, like, this really does seem like he wants the interactions to be almost like a third-person shooter, so... And I think that's the bigger problem. I don't fucking know.
Combat systems were
I'll play this game one day, maybe. My friend has a 2018 God of War, so I could play it. I could just play it, bum it from him, but, it has unskippable cutscenes. I can't fucking do it.
Extremely clunky. To solve this, we had to reevaluate our combat late into the fall of 2016 and go forward with the strategy. For players to play confidently and offensively, we needed to remove as much clunkiness as we could. After the initial adjustment of getting used to the game, camera. If we didn't get this right, players would be discouraged to experiment with our combat and would maybe even rely on the pattern of play that they're used to in some of the games I showed before. So, with these challenges...
Okay, so the problem... That might be true, actually, because... Yeah, I guess the problem is because the possibility space is so huge, because the arenas are fucking massive, like, in every way. So you have this problem where a lot of these more defensively oriented, like, they make offense like, you know, offense is always going to be a lot more difficult than just like running around the fucking arena and camping. So I guess the problem is then that they started with this idea, like, okay, how do we kind of flatten the distinction between the player being far away from enemies and the player being close to enemies? And they did that with projectiles, but because the camera is so zoomed in, they had to fucking spam the player couldn't keep track of all the fucking projectiles. So you have this whole Ninja Gaiden 2 type of thing going on where they try to like constantly blast you with shit in order to make being far away from enemies more risky than being close to enemies. I guess I can see how it happens then, like what the issue there was. Because if you just have this big arena and the enemies are melee, then yeah, just like the players can just move around freely. They can run away a little bit, deliver some attacks, dodge away or like block or whatever, and keep playing defensively. Camping is still a problem in the final game. To be fair, at least in lower levels, most players use and abuse whatever in danger. Yeah, it's really hard to fucking get away from that design. You really have to do. See, the problem is that the fucking the guy, the man himself, Mr. God of War himself, Kratos, is too fast. He can run. Look at this.
That we were going to make it work. And
the enemies aren't doing much at all. But he can like run circles around them. He's so fast. He's so mobile. He can strafe. Like he has everything. The enemies have nothing. They can barely keep up with him in any way whatsoever. So what you have is like, you cannot get cornered. You can just, all it takes is just run away, dash away maybe, reposition. That's it. So you have to rely on this kind of bullshit like projectiles. And yeah, there's usually 1-2 long-range enemies in every arena to counter the runaway design. Yeah, but it's like the, okay, yeah, and now I'm starting to understand where the problem comes from. Because like, yeah. They don't want the fucking enemies to like outrun you constantly and catch you and shit. Clearly, we need hit scanners. Yeah, well, that's the next fucking step. Because you know, if the player's too good at dodging this shit, then yeah, just have hit scanners. Oh my god, are there iframe rolls? Of course, there's iframe rolls. Even I know that, dude. It's a modern game. You can assume that there's iframe rolls.
Tracking, targeting, and engaging enemies. And I'm excited to go through them with more technical detail and share some of what we learned in the process. If you would like to hear more about the design process covered in this section, Jason McDonald, our design director, did a great talk on this yesterday called Taking an Axe to God of War Gameplay, and it should be up on the vault soon for you to check out. Let's start with tracking enemies, and by which I mean everything related to enabling players to be aware of threats in the fight. In order to track enemies, the player has to have an idea of who the active threats are. You could be fighting 8 enemies at a time, but which group should you really be paying the closest attention to? Aggressiveness affects how enemies will behave and where they will position themselves. Our enemies can be either aggressive or non-aggressive in a fight. Think of it kind of like...
Sora, hello again. What's the topic now? Just checking the God of War design thing, GDC. He's talking about how the camera position created a lot of problems. At first, I had trouble understanding where the problems came from, but now I'm starting to realize it's because like they have these design patterns where, for example, they're too afraid to have the enemies outrun you constantly, and as a result, being far away from enemies is inherently kind of a strong tactic, and they have to compensate for it by squishing the ranged game and like the melee game together. So being far away from the enemies isn't that much more safe than being close. I think Shmup should also have hit scanners. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Bam. You gotta. Wait, you said that health is bad, but you want fucking hit scanners? Get out of here.
Seen in a kung fu movie.
Demon.
Aggressive enemies are those who are actively trying to attack the player in the front, while non-aggressive enemies hang around in the back and wait to become aggressive. So, how do we select who is aggressive at any moment and who isn't? We mostly updated our old aggression scoring and token system from God of War Ascension, but accounted for the new camera. We evaluate all enemies in the fight periodically on a short timer, and give them a numerical aggression score built by the following criteria in order of importance. Can the enemy become aggressive? And this is to ensure that they're not in a hit reaction or in a similar state where they're barred from becoming aggressive. The second is, what's their aggression priority? And this is a number set by designers per enemy type, along with the range in which the priority is applied. So a high priority, like a really big ogre who's super far away, doesn't out-prioritize a lower enemy, like the Draugr, who's already close to the player. Third is the enemy currently targeted by the player? And I'll go...
I don't like this. I really don't fucking like this. I'm trying to think why exactly I don't like this. I think the reason this rubs me the wrong way immediately is because it's like it's trying to systematize things that should be kind of emergent behaviors from the properties of enemies. He's trying to like pre-make a prioritization system instead of letting it evolve naturally. You know, oh, this enemy is fast, so I got to take him out quickly. This enemy does fucking anti-air, so I can't. Okay, not in God of War, but yeah, this enemy does anti-air, so I got to take him out quickly. But this like tries to. It's like overthinking something that should, and as a result, simplifying it a lot because you're creating this like simple model of something that is usually just like an emergent gameplay dynamic of games, as a result of just building enemies with interesting properties.
Over this in more detail soon in the targeting enemies section of the talk. And finally, what's the enemy's action rank? And this is a calculation that looks at whether they are on or off screen, their angle from the camera, and their distance from Kratos.
Oh no. Oh no. I hate this is like the biggest problem. Guys look scoring in GDC. Yeah, he needs to work on his score a little bit. It's been kind of sucking. But yeah, this is a constant fucking problem because now ironically, you make the camera a fucking gameplay mechanic. You try to get away from that, but you do the opposite. Like it's like Bayonetta in Devil May Cry 3, right? Where the enemies are really passive off camera. So the ideal strat, if you want to like isolate and kill enemies, is to just get the camera off the crowd and isolate a single enemy. In DMC, it's really useful as well sometimes.
Yes. The enemies are sorted with the score and are handed aggression tokens from a fixed pool in order. Each enemy type can claim a different number of aggression tokens to signify size or importance, and after the max token count is reached, all others in the list become non-aggressive. In this example, the player has a pool of 14 tokens. In the table, the outline column on the right.
It was funny when Santa Monica acknowledged Matthew Matos's God of War video on Twitter, only for them to double down on every negative aspect for their sequel. Yeah. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I haven't fucking played it, so, don't fucking listen to me. It was extremely funny because I remember someone posted a picture of Matthew Matos's like fucking curb stomping Kratos, and the developer's like, "Thank you. We found this video very interesting," or some shit like that. That was really funny. Matthew Matos's did kind of backtrack a lot towards the end there, though. But the problem with Matthew Matos's analysis is like, it's kind of useless because all these problems aren't because the devs are stupid, but because their priorities are fundamentally fucked. Enemies are really not passive off camera in the final game. You gotta always divide your attention with the fucking enemy aggression arrows. Yeah, but see, like I guess that's the problem with Okay, so hold on. Oh, aggression arrows like the attack warnings. I guess that makes sense then. Yeah. That is kind of funny though. Then what the fuck is the point of the system? Okay.
That's how many tokens that enemy claims. After the third enemy, the pool of 14 runs out, and the remaining enemy is set to be non-aggressive. The outline column on the left shows who is aggressive, and as you can see, only the blue enemy was set to non-aggressive because he's missing the asterisk. And you can even see this in the image. He's standing all the way in the back. Careful tuning of these values helps to ensure the player always has a mana.
If enemy is being passive and not on camera, wouldn't that make it into a running simulator? Yep, that's what it tends to do. It almost always tends to do that. Ninja Gaiden, Bayonetta, Devil May Cry 3 to an extent. Always does that shit. Always.
Potential threat at any time. These values are also changed for difficulty to either increase or decrease the overall enemy aggression. Once we know which enemies are aggressive and which are non-aggressive, we have to figure out where they want to be in the fight space. Positioning needed a complete overhaul and was built from the ground up with this new camera in mind. In older God of War games, enemies use their aggressiveness to determine whether they should stand near or far from the player, effectively surrounding Kratos in two circles. There was...
Wait, what? Okay, so the player on screen, cone. Okay, I for some reason I thought this was like stretching more towards towards the player, the side the player's looking at, but it isn't. It's pretty uniform. Boghuck, you ever tried the God Eater series? A little bit. I didn't like it at all. Like nothing felt like it had any impact. It was just fucking. It's like Poverty Monster Hunter or some shit.
Non-aggressive. We have to figure out where they want to be in the fight space. Positioning needed a complete overhaul and was built from the ground up with this new camera in mind.
Bootleg Monster Hunter.
In older God of War games, enemies use their aggressiveness to determine whether they should stand near or far from the player, effectively surrounding Kratos in two circles. There was no notion of nicely spreading the enemies out or caring about one area more than another. The pulled back camera allowed you to see everyone at all times, so it was easy to perceive your threats, and non-aggressive enemies occasionally moved around the perimeter of the fight just to keep the scene a bit more dynamic. Now, however, enemies could be on-screen or off-screen, and where they stand relative to your perspective is extremely important. The camera perspective makes depth perception more difficult to gauge distances, and enemies in front obscured those who were standing behind them. As such, we needed to make sure enemies spread out comfortably. Early on in the project, we tried to find the optimal positions for each enemy using a weight-based positioning system. We used a fixed-sized, circular grid around Kratos, which would update periodically as he moved around. Each grid position would evaluate itself by checking if it was on the nav mesh, and if it had a valid straight path to Kratos. Valid positions were then weighted based on many different...
This is like the opposite of what I want to do. This is so fucking funny to watch, because I was thinking, okay, I need enemies that get in the spots where it's least convenient to deal with them. I was like thinking, okay, how can I make it so that the player is really fucking inconvenienced by how the enemies move? And it's like the exact fucking opposite, where it's like, oh, okay, let's try to find the spots that are most convenient to the player. That is pretty funny, but you know.
Heuristics. There were a few valuable learnings early on from using the system, but over time it became clear that we needed another solution. The weight structure became monolithic, complicated, and messy, making it almost impossible to debug effectively, which you might be able to guess by looking at that. Weights kept constantly getting invalidated due to both player and enemy movement, and enemies frequently bunched together because of this. Most importantly, we saw from early internal testing that players immediately got scared as soon as an enemy went off screen and shut down any kind of op.
Yes, fucking exactly. This is what I fucking mean. They are designing the exact fucking opposite. Bro, who has time for these diagrams? Pretty good. I mean, it's pretty solid, because if you're starting off making these games, then you probably wouldn't think about how to like design the enemy positioning in this way. I'm gonna be doing this shit as well soon. It's gonna be fun, but it is literally the fucking opposite, because I'm like, fuck, the enemies are too clumped up, too much in the front of the player, and it's too comfortable. I want them to fucking spread out and cause issues for you.
Offensive or confident gameplay that they were.
See, like, that's what I mean by the developers aren't stupid. They're like thinking through all these systems. It's not like Matthew Matos' criticism is going to be like extremely mind blowing to them. It's just like their priorities are just completely different.
It didn't look like God of War.
Like, why, did you think they couldn't program the shit I program? Easily fucking they could design that.
We needed players to build a mental map of enemy locations in the fight so they could feel comfortable in combat. After almost a year of iteration, we scrapped the system entirely. This time, driven by the madness of managing the complex weights, we changed the goal from picking optimal positions for each enemy to something far simpler: prevent enemies from getting into bad positions. This led to a strict zone constraint-based positioning system.
This is literally the opposite. Oh shit.
The system required each enemy to have two elements: a positional constraint, which is basically where do I want to stand, and a separation constraint, which is how much space do I take. As long as these constraints were met, no position was better than any other. Both constraints would take the form of zones and would be fully data-driven. These zones required a minimum amount of nav mesh to be available, otherwise more lenient fallback zones would be used. Instead of using a grid that moved around Kratos, we generated a grid on the nav mesh in world space. The positional constraint we used for aggressive enemies was this kind of crescent shape in front of Kratos to keep them on screen, and you can see that in the image in red. This particular shape played well with the camera's perspective and prevented enemies in the back of the zone from standing off screen.
Prevent challenge, let's go. Well, it sounds like they failed, according to Madruga Man. I don't know though. that is really funny though, yeah, because I mean that's how a lot of these games are designed. How is it called? The Arkham, Arkham, Assassin's Creed. All these games are exactly doing that, just making things as convenient as possible for the player.
Non-aggressive enemies would just.
But this is like a critical failure by the sound of it, but in the opposite direction, where it actually ended up being fun. That's cool.
Kratos in a white circle, similar to old God of War, since they didn't care about being on or off screen. Separation constraints, the one that specified how much space an enemy takes, had different shapes.
Yeah, the off-screen enemies did not behave passively at all in the finished game.
The aggressive enemies simply used a radius to define how much space they took, so no other creature was allowed to stand in their circle.
Task failed successfully,
enemies,
exactly.
However, had a wider, angled separation constraint that kind of looked like a slightly curved rectangle.
Well, it sounds like, the whole off-screen aggression was a thing as well, but that was an early thing, right? But now it sounds like he does not want to prevent them from being off-screen, but he wants to prevent them from... Actually, let me re-listen to that, because there was a shift, right? Because this system specifically wanted to prevent them from being aggressive on screen. You can see like the zones where the enemies presumably couldn't stand here. It's in the red. These areas would be preferred. These areas would be preferred, but these areas would be like forbidden, pretty much. So this would prevent them from overlapping. But these, like all the areas behind the player, they would be like low priority type of stuff. But then they changed it to a different system where all these spots around the player are basically homogeneous. It doesn't matter if they're behind or in front.
As long as these constraints were met, No position was better than any other. Both constraints would take the form of zones and would be fully data-driven. These zones required a minimum amount of nav mesh to be available, otherwise more lenient fallback zones would be used. Instead of using a grid that moved around Kratos, we generated a grid on the nav mesh in world space. The positional constraint we used for aggressive enemies was this kind of crescent shape in front of Kratos to keep them on screen, and you can see that.
Okay, so it is a little bit. The system is still there. I guess it wasn't strong enough. So, yeah.
And the image in red. This particular shape played well with the camera's perspective and prevented enemies in the back of the zone from standing off screen as you move forward. Non-aggressive enemies would just stand around Kratos in a wide circle, similar to old God of War, since they didn't care about being on or off screen. Separation constraints, the one that specify how much space an enemy takes, had different shapes. The aggressive enemies simply used a radius to define how much space they took, so no other creature was allowed to stand in their circle. Non-aggressive enemies, however, had a wider, angled separation constraint that kind of looked like a slightly curved rectangle. This shape was helpful to spread out the enemies laterally in the back, but didn't take up as much space, since there could be many more non-aggressive enemies at any one time than there could be aggressive ones. This shape also meant that the enemies in the back could be seen behind enemies in the front. You can see how
this seems like a... Because the areas are a little wide, it seems like that would make it so that the enemies are always kind of spread out, and as a result, it would get that third-person shooter feel again. Cat needs to chill out. Also,
this led to enemies being clearly perceptible by these two images, which show the same exact enemy layout, but from an aerial. And
because if the enemies are so far away, what do you rely on? You would have to rely on ranged attacks, right? Not so much melee stuff. Because in beat 'em ups, what would happen is they would surround you really close and just spam attacks. Here, I suppose they would be like run-up attacks or ranged stuff.
Camera perspective. This approach had much less nitty-gritty control, but yielded far better results. The zone data was easier to author and debug, and the simplicity of solving the constraints led to both less frequent and less noisy invalidation. The constraints also caused the enemies to spread out in a way that was much more visually pleasing. However, it still wasn't perfect. By making all aggressive enemies want to be in that crescent shape in front of Kratos, many of the off-screen enemies behind him who had recently become aggressive would walk directly into the back of him while trying to get on screen. In fact, off-screen enemies in
That's
general...
perfect. That is perfect. What the fuck? Okay.
...really hard to track. You didn't know where they were, and at any time, one could turn aggressive and be a new threat from a blind spot. Players...
They're perfect. God damn it. God damn it. No.
...still didn't have a mental map of the fight, and they couldn't play confidently. And we relied on this version of positioning for a long time.
See, that's the... I don't like this, because it's like, you're using this camera. Use it to your fucking advantage. Why would it be like a fucking trap? Why would it be like a fucking prison? Because this is like a prison. He's trying to get out of it. It's like, okay, you have a limited field of view. Okay, use it. Use it for gameplay. Like, okay, now you can control enemies. You can clump them up. The game plan can revolve around keeping enemies on screen. And what I'm describing is literally just God Hand. That's what it does. Like, you have a limited field of view. As a result, you want to keep the enemies off screen. You want to, like, crowd. You don't want to clump them together. You want to crowd them and shit. Okay.
Time on the project. In fact, it was only during the last few months during intense playtesting that we re-examined it and tried to address remaining issues that we knew existed.
Yeah, I guess the problem is just like the other priorities where they want enemies to where they don't. There's a lot of shit. They didn't want God Hand. They wanted souls. Yeah, but even though they said they wanted to avoid it, so it's like I think the biggest problem I feel like so far, based on the whole thing, right? So far, it feels like the biggest problem is that they couldn't figure out a good way to counteract the fact that the player can run away and play defensively. They like couldn't figure it out mechanically, so they have to balance the camera around that idea. They have to make these concessions. They have to treat the camera as a prison specifically because if they don't, the player will just say fuck it and they'll play a ranged like runaway game, keep away.
Could position himself.
The limited view in God of War just aims to piss you off. All enemies are active, and thanks to indicators, you can tell when what they're doing always. So the camera is just annoying you. Oh, that is a good point. Because that is a fucking good point. Because what you do is when you work against this fucking system, then you give the player too much information, and as a result, you make it it's a non-mechanic. Then it's literally just like a fucking nuisance. It's not going to be not a mechanic, but like a dynamic. I don't know.
In a way that you would just kind of
that is a good point because that literally like
as a player,
it's just the fucking conflict between what they. I don't fucking know why they want the camera so much. Holy shit. Jesus Christ.
We
Like, you wouldn't even need to zoom it out that much, right? To get that visceral feel. Okay.
new techniques to help preserve enemies as being either on or
you know, you could be really fucking cool and just give the player a radar. Like, God hand.
off screen. And that's to say that an on-screen enemy should only go off of the screen if the player caused that to happen. Similarly, an off-screen enemy who turned aggressive should not be forced back on screen until you've looked at it. And this was all done in logic that assigned the constraint zones to enemies. Another technique we used was to keep...
And not knowing what enemies are attacking with is fucking abyss. Well, that is a little bit of a way to balance it. But then, you know, if you don't have the tools to get them in front of you again, then, or if they're designed to not get in front of you or whatever, because they're ranged enemies, then yeah, it becomes a problem. It does seem like there's a clash between this kind of like twin sticky design, which, you know, this is literally twin stick, and the beat 'em up elements that they want to capture. Very strange.
Keep off-screen enemies in their same world space oriented quadrant.
I'm kind of looking forward to playing God of War now. I just wish there was a good way to remove everything else besides just the combat. God, because it looks interesting if nothing else, you know.
And this was just another zone constraint that they had to satisfy. This way, enemies that you weren't actively keeping track of would stay relatively in the same area as you'd last seen. So for example, an enemy currently in the back left of the player's view would stay in that general area. So if the player turned right and put that enemy off screen, they would know that the enemy was now directly behind them. So here's a demo of the system with enemies who are not attacking for debug purposes, but aggressiveness as a system.
Okay, it is really funny though how this is like the exact opposite of what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do, because I'm trying to fully exploit the fact that you can't turn around, or you know, the fact that you can't attack behind you directly. I'm trying to fully exploit that shit and build the game around that. But this is like they're trying to avoid everything to make it they're trying to do everything to avoid the camera being an actual mechanic.
Those are two different concepts.
It's like this game could not exist. Because this is like, the whole game is about managing cowboys. You can't turn around, but you have multiple directions. And like, a lot of the dynamics come from like kind of... The enemy movement is very dynamic. It's very unpredictable. It is unpredictable in the sense that you can't always know exactly what they will do, but you have a lot of control over it. And you have to kind of like wiggle around, and it's very interesting how you manipulate their movement. And a lot of the gameplay is literally trying to prevent them from getting behind you at any point in time. And you almost play like these fun footsie type of games, you know. The view of camera as a view of God while keeping it close to the characters they share. Yeah. I feel like either you have like the whole view of God thing, or you use it as a mechanic. If you try to do both, it's gonna cause a lot of very strange issues.
I'll commentate on what's happening, but the main takeaway is to notice if the enemies move in a way that you would expect. Take a look. So here, both the green and yellow enemies are aggressive and want to stay on me. And you can see that as I move around, they try to stay in that crescent shape.
Wow, so they're not even covering the whole camera. They're like literally in front of you. How will you explain to Zoomers that 90, jeez, fucking Christ, 75 arcade game is better than this? Yeah, I cannot.
Screen, and their zone shape changes to be a much wider circle around the player.
The only way to do it is to literally show them by making like a game with fancy graphics that also plays like this and is like polished, you know, in a lot of ways. But you know, you can't. That's hard to fucking do. That's the problem, right? It's a real shame. I do feel like more people like that type of gameplay style than it seems. I do think a lot of people kind of like that shit. It's a matter of how to present it to them so they're not immediately put off. And Gunsmoke is immediately off-putting, very immediately off-putting.
The enemy who's now on screen becomes aggressive. The green enemy stays on Kratos' right side even while off screen due to the quadrants, and similarly the yellow enemy stays
quadrants.
The green enemy is still treated as off screen until Kratos turns around, but once he does, it's back and in that crescent shape. And aggressiveness switches between enemies super frequently with all that's happening in combat, but overall, enemies generally stay where you'd expect them to be. These key improvements, along with many other small changes, led to significant outcomes. We were able to solve the on-screen, off-screen.
Yeah, so this is like my video on action games are competitive, but like reversed. Action games are friendly, because like the enemies have a game plan. They have like a game plan, but the game plan is just like to help you,
and prevent
which is
from standing in awkward positions. Quadrants were
yeah. I didn't think how much of a reversal my action games are competitive video was compared to like a lot of the design nowadays, which I guess it makes sense, right? As modern developers and publishers have learned, presentation is everything. Mechanics don't matter that much. Yeah, I mean, that is a good thing in a lot of ways, because it means like people are more agnostic and they're more open-minded to different gameplay styles than it initially seems. But yeah, just nailing the presentation is the fucking hard part.
Huge success in making enemy positions more predictable, and were especially helpful in more complex environments. Overall, these changes helped our goal of allowing players to make mental maps of the battlefield and begin to play confidently. And this was evident in playtests. I mean, players, whether they were aware of it or not, would start to feel confident enough to take risks and continue to be engaged offensively, even when handling multiple enemies. To help players further, we wanted to make them even more aware of off-screen enemies and what they were doing, without it being so distracting that it shifted attention away.
I'm thinking, like, is confidence important? I think it is, in a way. Because, you know, you don't want the mechanics to be so janky that they always feel very unreliable and weird. But I do feel like there's, like, a very, very fuzzy area where, you know, you want them to be confident, but not to the point where they feel comfortable, right? Because then you want them to earn confidence. You want it to grow as they get better at the games. You don't want it to be like a baseline, I guess. But even then, I don't know. I think that there's probably a distinction between like confidence in regards to game plan and confidence in regards to whether your mechanics will work or not. Because like, you don't feel confident when you play Streets Rage 2 Mania and the enemies fucking annihilate you. You feel completely powerless, but the fact that you can earn back the confidence through attacks and shit, like learning the game, that feels amazing. This game really makes you feel like Kratos. Seems like it, eh?
We knew we didn't want to do something as overt as a radar or minimap, so we experimented with off-screen indicators. Most players just need to know if off-screen enemies were attacking, but as they became more and more confident with the game, it was helpful to get an idea of where even nearby idle enemies were to best maximize their combat strategies. This information could encourage them to be more offensive instead of hanging back all the time. Early on, we tried flashing the edge of the screen closest to enemies off screen, but
earning that confidence is awesome. Exactly, that's what I mean. It's like when in a beat 'em up, when in a 2D beat 'em up, you go from like staying in a fucking corner and just like trying to spam fucking punches to go into like, oh, now I can use my desperation attack offensively. Now I can like take really cool risks, and it feels fucking awesome. And the games are generally designed in a way where it's rewarding, because the passive defensive playstyles get punished by the fast enemies in small areas.
Players thought they were damage indicators instead. Not ideal. We tried many other implementations which involved...
But I do think there's like a valid point there, because yeah, like if you make all the fucking basic moves really janky and hard to use, like, you know, give them small hitboxes, give movement inertia, then okay, a good example would be Resident Evil 4 Remake, actually, because the combat... Because the problem is that the melee combat is very, like, inconsistent, very, like, janky, small hitboxes, small, like, very few iframes. You can never, like... You could probably make it work, but the problem is, like, it's just too finicky and, like, fucking awkward in every way. There's too many, like, these weird edge cases and exceptions and, like, a lack of consistency. And as a result, what the player does is they just fucking run away and shoot. There's no point engaging with the combat anymore. So what you would ideally want to do is fucking prevent them from running away and shooting. You would make the game difficult enough that they would that playstyle would be kind of punished, or at least like just non-optimal, right? But according to Mayo, it's consistent.
But finally settled on changing them to be arrows, which circled around Kratos and pointed more clearly towards the enemies themselves. The red
I mean, with the Mayo consistently consistent thing, I think he was trying to say is that. Because it's always like 1 to 3 shots, I think that it can be 4 or 5 in very rare instances. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that though. I think because it's like a very like a, you know, like the variation is very small instead of like being a fucking 1 to 100. You can kind of plan around it a bit more. You can treat it like as a fuzzy kind of ambiguous situation instead of just like a completely unpredictable fucking plan. At least in Pro, I definitely think the keep away combat is supposed to be the intended combat flow. Yeah, it is.
Indicators are for incoming attacks, and the more
which, you know, then a lot of the Resident Evil mechanics kind of depend on the melee stuff. So like the shooting isn't that interesting, really, when you get down to it. Like, how much more interesting is it than the average third person shooter, right? I'm gonna join soon, eating a snack. Hey, Mark, this is a very interesting video because he's been covering a lot. This is like an inversion of, you know, I was talking about action games should be competitive and the enemy should have a game plan that exploits the player weaknesses. The way they design like where enemies position themselves and how they behave in regards to your camera is the exact opposite, where the enemies try to not exploit your weakness, because exploiting the weakness makes the player feel not confident in their gameplay.
White arrows just show nearby idling enemies. And it was important to design the white indicators in a way that weren't distracting for players who weren't trying to use them. Range attacks actually had a slightly different purple color for players who paid attention, but again, the goal was to not overload information. If you saw a reddish flashing arrow, you knew something was coming. And it's important to point out that the work done on the positioning system described earlier, in terms of reducing the noise and invalidation of enemies, made these off-screen indicators far more stable, predictable, and easier for players to process. Our indicators help players track enemies.
I'd say the shooting is interesting due to the enemy design. Taking my fighting game comparison from later, Resident Evil 4 Remake is about a zoner taking a horde of breakdown enemies. A little bit. It's one of the good things about Resident Evil is that even the guns feel like melee, but it's less true in 4 because you can move while shooting. It is a little bit true still though, because you know your movement isn't that fucking busted. It's not like Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 6, that's for sure. And I do like how the survival horror design makes for, you know, it encourages them to like fucking play around with enemy states. So for example, the plagas that opens up, you got to shoot it when it's open up for more damage and shit. So that kind of stuff is at least interesting. A lot of third-person shooters don't have many states like that. Unexplained enemy indicators. Wouldn't have heard of dissonance. True. Holy shit.
Enemies off screen.
How did you
point
point it out?
Right in front of us. Controlling the camera itself with the right analog stick in the heat of battle is an added complexity this time that we needed to help make accessible.
And of course the states, you know, just the states. Enemies keeping in your view sounds kind of lame. Seems like a fun thing they could play around with more, like adding enemies that try to keep track of your camera. Well, they kind of failed at it, and they didn't try that hard. Because initially they tried harder, but eventually they kind of settled on a simpler system that kind of doesn't emphasize the design too much.
Wide audience looking.
The thing with the plagas is good because it benefits the player for more. I really like the regenerator design. I wish it was used a lot more. It's fucked that melee could be made stronger without breaking the flow. Having enemy stagger be certain when having the crosshair closed would add so much to melee. It's not even just that. It's just like fucking. I think the biggest problem is how fucking shit the movement feels, and how how shit the movement feels. How like a lot of enemy reactions are mutually exclusive, like grabs. You know, like because the movement is shit, and you know the grabs are fucking tracked like crazy. If an enemy initiates a grab from close range, you can't really avoid it at all. Even though you have like a fucking... Technically, you can crouch it if it's from far away. So like you know, because how the parry works as well, you can't even rely on the fucking parry because it has like blocks and it's directional. And then of course you don't have any exit iframes after a kick. Well, you have a little bit, but like it's not enough. Often the enemy initiates an attack and you're basically locked in place as the attack hitbox fucking spawns on top of you. It's fucked up. I don't like anything about Resident Evil 4's melee.
Play an action game. We tried to find a solution for tracking enemies without relying on the player to constantly manage the camera by implementing our own version of a camera strafe assist. The camera will automatically try to adjust and keep relevant targets and threats in view when the player moves left or right. To do this, we wait enemies to find a center point for the camera to focus on. In particular, evading laterally really shows...
Yeah, grabs are absolutely horrid. In a lot of situations, you're forced to take the grab. Yeah, I feel like with games like that, right? If they want to make something that technical and janky, they should not be able, they should forcefully fucking disable ranged play at that point. Like force you to fucking engage with that shit. Because you cannot get away with something that technical and janky that also just lets you fucking hang back and shoot. And that's me. That I think is the central problem of God of War, and why they struggled a lot.
This behavior in action. We also eventually added a behavior to reorient the camera automatically in the direction of Kratos' attacks to ensure that we reduce frustration for players struggling with controls. As many of you likely know, anticipating the player's intentions with how they wanted the camera to behave is a difficult task, and we didn't always get it right 100%. But our playtest proved, however, that these camera assists dramatically improved gameplay for most players, and those who found them frustrating could just turn them off in the settings menu. Now that we've gone through systems that help players track their threats, let's look at others which help players choose who they wanted to attack by diving into targeting.
On one hand, it does make the keep-away combat a lot more necessary for survival. On the other, it just feels bad. Yeah, I guess the question is like what the focus is, because I do feel like Evil Within just does it better a little bit, because it's like it has a more fluid mix of like a simpler melee combat that works better for its more shooting-oriented focus, shooting and stealth-oriented focus. Even though, you know, Evil Within has a lot of fucking issues, like a lot of the level design. It's like a speedrun through all the cliches of survival horror games. But I do think it handles that shit better.
In a common fight scene like this, which enemy should Kratos target when the player presses the attack button? Should it be the bandit on the right, because he looks like he's the closest? What about the one in the middle, because he's in the center of the screen?
Uh-oh, context sensitivity.
Kratos just attack directly in front of whoever he's facing without aiming at anyone in particular. This is a pretty complicated problem.
No, just let the player fucking decide. Why do this? Why? God damn it, I hate this immediately. Fucking soft block, fucking magnetism, like just why not let the fucking hitboxes do their thing? They're designed for it. The X, Y, and Z positions are designed to fucking work that way, you know? Position yourself close to an enemy and attack. That's the whole fundamental. Ah, fuck.
Target selection is an extremely...
It's like, now if you want to actually play the fundamental game, you have to fucking resist the system at all points in time. It's like it's like you're being surrounded by fucking magnets and you're trying to like fucking wiggle around, you know?
System for us, since we need to allow players to fight multiple enemies at the same time fluidly due to the one versus many fantasy. It's a core part of our combat identity.
Like, what about this prevents the player from fucking fighting multiple enemies? You stand in a place and fucking attack. Why do you need the fucking magnetism? God damn it. Kratos in the final game, 90% of the time just attacks in front of him. It's so goddamn bad.
We needed to make this possible without requiring players.
Yeah, like, fucking dude, I'm gonna start referencing Final Fight Streetwise more and more often. Because it's kind of funny how this game does it really well. It's interesting that they're aware of all of this. Yeah, it's like I pointed this out earlier. Like, a lot of people think, oh, you know, the fact that they didn't acknowledge Matthew Matos' criticism is like they're not listening. They know all this shit. They're not fucking stupid. The developers are not stupid. It's just that they have very different priorities that make it so that, you know, they rely on these fucking systems that suck ass. Yeah, look. Multi-enemy combat. If you want to fucking attack an enemy, you walk up and punch. If you want to turn around, you walk up and fucking punch. You turn around and punch. Any direction. It's free. It's free form. It doesn't matter. You can attack anywhere at any point. You can turn around behind you. Fucking... And what was the problem with this exactly? Just give it beefy, nice hitboxes, right? That's it. Like, who would complain about a system like this? It's so, like, snappy and clean. Like, maybe you can have a little bit of tracking, right? So it's like, you can't, I wish this is what we could do. Yeah, exactly. The original God of War. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the original God of War would break if it didn't work like that. A lot of PS2 games worked like this, and it was great. The fucking X, Y, Z. Like, what they're trying to prevent, I guess they're trying to prevent is a situation where, for example, you attack in this direction, the enemy's standing in this direction. So there's like a slight, you, for example, do like a stab attack, you know, like an attack that has a forward hitbox, and miss. Yes, that's what they're trying to prevent, but that as a result, they're fucking up all the hitboxes that actually that's not even good. Okay, so you miss stabbing like a fucking thrust attack. Okay, that's the weakness of the attack. If you want you to use a thrust attack, it has range, but it doesn't have wide coverage. Okay, that's a trade-off. Why the fuck would you need to balance it? So every single attack is like fucking sliding you towards shit. Goddamn. Fuck. They know allowing the player to lose is not an option. Yeah, but they still try to make the games difficult. It's just that now they have to make the games difficult in very annoying ways that are just not fun to engage with.
Use a lock-on system, which was a directive all the way from the top. A new challenge was also that the Leviathan Axe enabled both ranged and melee combat on the fly, and switching between them should be seamless. A lot of time was spent on this problem in particular, in order to get it feeling just right.
If only they played Streetwise, they would know.
War games, with the pulled back camera, we relied heavily on the left analog stick to decide who Kratos should target.
Oh, shit.
With his attacks. The problem with doing something like that for the new game is that we didn't want Kratos attacking into the camera if you pulled back on the stick. One early approach we took was to kind of make it like a shooter and have it be entirely dependent on the reticle point in the center of the camera. And this didn't work. It wasn't intuitive for our style of game, and players kept complaining, like, why can't I hit that enemy? It looks like he's right there. We weren't able to get their intent across, and the result was gameplay that felt funky. The solution ended up being a mix between both the left and right analog stick, as well as other factors. We'll take a look at it in action. You'll see a green circle on whoever Kratos' target is at any time. So in the beginning, all the enemies are out of range, and Kratos doesn't have a valid target. As soon as an enemy comes into range...
They make everything else so convenient, and they make the system so complicated and janky. I guess it is like for example, trying to make fighting games less complicated by adding auto combos, you know? Because the auto combos, it's like, you know, okay, you have an auto combo, but the problem is now you have like combo... when you're learning a normal B&B combo, now you have to like have much more clean inputs, because otherwise you'll trigger the fucking auto combo. So yeah, things that make like casual button mashing type of stuff more accessible end up making high level play a lot more fucking annoying in ways that aren't necessarily fun. I think not even high level, just like mid, upper mid, whatever.
And you can see that with the green circle. The target will change as the characters move around due to a lot of weights that are determining the targeting system.
Oh my dear God.
If you look at only the right stick and move that around, you can see that the screen-centeredness alone will not pick the best target.
Oh my fucking God.
But characters completely off-screen can't be targets, and that's probably something you can imagine.
Oh my fucking God, what the fuck? Are you out of your fucking mind? What the fuck? So there's nothing consistent. I don't even know what... You have to... What the fuck is this? You gotta control like fucking 20 factors now. You gotta count for 20 factors. Just fucking let me turn around. What the fuck? You need a fucking PhD in the soft block now to understand how the fuck it works. What the fuck?
So inversely, if we only move the left analog stick, the stick deflection drives the intent, and you can see the target change as Kratos walks around. And so as you saw in the video, we still tried to retain the left stick as much as possible as being the main way to show intent, and because it kind of felt familiar to players. And I'm not going to go into them in too much detail, but for those curious, here's a list of the factors that played a role in target selection for reference. And feel free to take a picture if you want. As long as there is a viable enemy candidate, the targeting...
Give me a DMC5 camera and said, okay, gaming Brit, alright. Just swing and pray it out of targets. Yeah, like, if you wanted to do... If you want to do, like... But see, now, this is, like, discouraging you to clump enemies together and group them up. Because now it just, like, it has the Resident Evil... it has a Sifu issue, where, like, the whole fucking thing starts kind of fucking breaking apart.
Will always choose it over not having any target at all. You can't choose to attack into an empty space instead of a valid target.
What? Why?
If there are no possible targets, Kratos will always attack directly forward along the direction of the camera. You can't steer his attacks left, right, or backwards. And it's also important that we fulfill the fantasy of being Kratos, right? Like, we don't want him to miss his attacks clumsily when enemies are right in front of him.
God fucking damn it, dude.
So as with past God of War games, if Kratos has a target, all of his attacks are automatically rotated to face them.
The solution was a mix between camera facing, like all these factors going into this. What is it? Madness is this? I'm telling you, dude. There's so many factors that determine what you lock onto that it's like now you have to fucking study it. You have to become a fucking PhD in this shit. Look, player intent, left stick, camera facing. If that's not player intent, distance from Kratos. And now you have to, like, weigh all these things. And you have to, instead of just the simple fucking system, now you have to manually fucking figure out every single possible situation that can happen. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, okay, you know what? Matthew Matosis was right. Context sensitivity is cancer. I hate this.
One interesting issue that we saw within the studio during the development was that people control the camera really differently. Corey Barlog, the game director...
See, the problem here is not context sensitivity, is that they already have a good solution for this, and, you know, what they're doing instead is invalidating your fucking inputs and the XYZ fucking angles and shit. Notice how they do not treat the camera as a mechanic. Yeah, exactly. That's like the big problem early on. They pick this camera system because it's more cinematic, and they're trying to like do as much as possible to minimize the issues that it causes. Issues, quote unquote. So, for example, they early on they literally, whatever. You get the point. I'm just gonna repeat myself again. And if I repeat myself too many times, it's gonna make for a bad VOD, dude.
Those of us who play the game correctly, of course, angled the camera down towards the ground so we had a reference point for judging distances. Having gameplay that was on your side meant that regardless of how you played, we knew it felt terrible to attack and miss an enemy who looked like it was right in front of you, even if it really was a good distance away.
Oh, come on.
We reused an old God of War Ascension feature called Suck to Target on most of Kratos'
Suck to target. Suck to target.
attacks to help with this issue. Each attack specified a range, speed, and stop distance, which the engine would use to suck Kratos towards his target.
Just fucking kill me, dude. The suck. We got a suck system on our hands, boys. Kratos will suck.
This would make it significantly easier to hit enemies. But as with most older systems, Suck to Target had problems.
Oh, I can't believe the automatic system that completely invalidates your XYZ fucking positioning has problems, dude. What the fuck do you mean? Of course it has problems. It's like, look.
The behavior often felt jarring and disorienting.
Are you fucking out of your mind? What the fuck is this? What the fuck did I just see? What the fuck is this?
But as with most older systems, Suck to Target had problems. From this new camera perspective,
look at this.
The behavior
what the fuck, dude?
Often felt jarring and disorienting. And this was especially true if an enemy was on the side of your screen. And
why not just give Kratos bigger fucking hitboxes, is what I want to ask. Why not just, like, fucking extend the hitboxes? So, like, the swing hits even when you expect it not to hit, right?
Laterally.
Damn, Kratos is fucking sucking in real time over here. Holy shit, look at the big suck. Kratos, my boy, do not get sucked. It's Blade's territory.
Towards it laterally. Since the same distance would appear to be much longer because, once again, depth perception. Worst of all was the case where you would be sucked in, only to still miss your attack.
So what? The fucking enemy's dodging. What do you mean? What the fuck do you mean the enemy's dodging? What the fuck?
Because the enemy happened to move right out of range during that time.
Yeah. What the fuck? See, oh my god, this is like every fucking thing I despise. This is every single thing I despise in fucking modern action games. Holy shit. Because they're literally trying to remove the importance of hitboxes and X, Y, Z interactions. It's just all that shit. What the fuck? You didn't even tell me you were streaming. I was streaming before you got up, bub. These enemies are so abyss, by the way.
To still miss your attack.
This is really funny. See, this happens in beat-em-ups as well, except, you know, you don't get sucked. And you know what the problem is? Hold on. Does this delay... It wouldn't delay your frame data, right? It wouldn't fuck with your frame data. No way it would fuck with your frame data. Getting sucked in. Dude, you see this shit? Hold on. Suck to target feature. Each attack specifies range, speed, and stop distance. Kratos will suck towards this target, making it easier to hit enemies. Thankfully it doesn't. Yeah, I would hope so. Because if that delayed your frame data, that would be insane. Yeah, look at this. Lateral motion with suck to target could be very jarring. Look at the Kratos sucking in real time. Well, not real time. We're gonna see every frame of Kratos sucking.
The behavior often felt jarring.
Damn, Kratos, that's a good suck.
And disorienting. And this was especially true if an enemy was on the side of your screen and Kratos sucked towards it laterally. Since the same distance would appear to be much longer because, once again, depth perception. Worst of all was the case where you would be sucked in, only to still miss your attack because the enemy happened to move right out of range during that time. So,
old suck problems. Disorienting, false positives. What the fuck do you mean false positives? What does that mean? New suck wins. Ensure contact or fail gracefully. Scale suck based on angle to target. This game really makes you feel like you're sucking. Like you're getting sucked, then you're sucking. God forbid players actually learn spacing and positioning. Magnets for all. Yeah, like I understand compensating for the player's minor mistakes, but this is not a fucking minor mistake.
Angled the camera down towards the ground so we had a reference.
Where is this shit?
But as with most older systems, suck to target had...
This is not a minor mistake. What kind of fucking idiot starts hitting when the enemy's here? What the fuck are you doing? The enemy... You can't chalk it up to fucking depth perception. What do you mean depth perception? Look at this guy. What the fuck?
Camera perspective?
Magnets. What the fuck is that? You mean sucked? I'm gonna start saying that. I'm gonna start... I'm gonna start saying that in videos. Oh yes, this game has a very, very prominent sucked target.
The behavior often felt jarring and disorienting, and this was especially true when the enemy was on the side of your screen and Kratos sucked towards it laterally, since the same distance would appear to be...
And what kind of idiot average Souls? Well, you can't say that, right? Because fucking Souls has actual spacing. The fucking you actually have to move into the enemy's range, and everyone loves that shit. Okay, maybe not everyone loves that shit, but no one cares. No one's complaining.
Much longer because, once again...
My whole philosophy on game design is making as much as sucking to targets.
Worst of all was the case where you would be stuck with the jarring lateral suck problem. You scaled the range of suck to target.
The lateral suck problem. Oh yeah.
Depending on the target's angle to Kratos. The wider the angle, the lower the range.
I'm loving this fucking GDC, gotta say.
This way, Kratos would miss
really
attacks
interesting
more
in a lot of
frequently
ways.
against enemies away to the side of the screen compared to enemies in front of him, even if they were at the same distance away.
I think the target should be sucked to you, actually. Oh, they did that. The targets do get sucked to you in God of War.
And we were pretty happy with results. Some of the examples of suck to target in the video are obvious over large distances, but it's actually happening much more frequently than you might realize.
I once asked my girlfriend for a lateral suck.
Notice it more when the camera is aimed downwards towards the ground.
She's gonna have to fucking do some learning for that one. The lateral suck.
As a fun fact, we actually toned down the suck to...
The player wants to feel agency, though. Suck into target just feels...
Since dramatically for our hardest game difficulty, Gimme God of War, because we wanted players to pay more attention to their positioning in combat. Once again, I apologize.
Okay.
For range combat targeting, we look to shooters for guidance on building.
Yeah, so what they want to do is they want to basically recreate the tab targeting system from MMOs, just with extra, polish. Just a little bit of extra. The thing is that once the player gets used to magnetism, it then becomes 100% reasonable to attempt in that range. Artificial range is an unwinnable proposition. You're just shifting the location. Yeah, eventually you will just do like The World Ends With You Neo, or I believe Kingdom Hearts, where you just like fucking just teleport, not teleport, but swoop to the target immediately as soon as you press an input. You just like who minds this shit? Like who? Did they did they? I want to see the research. I want to see the research of how many gamers are complaining about. Oh my god! You give them. Okay, first off, give Kratos juicy hitboxes. Give them like a big fucking fat, non-suckable fucking axe hitbox, right? Like a massive one, and then just have the enemies have pretty big hitboxes, more than their mesh suggests, right? And then give it to players and fucking see. Will they complain? I don't think they will complain. They'll be like, oh, this feels fucking cool. Devil May Cry 3 is like that. Is anyone complaining about positioning in fucking Devil May Cry 3? I have never heard that in my life. Oh, dude, he's right in front of me. Enemy is 10 visible steps. So exactly. What the fuck? I think it's optimized for people with lower difficulties that just want a button mash. High difficulties are an afterthought. Yeah, but even then, I'm just really skeptical if this is an actual problem. I feel like the problem is caused by something else. So, for example, just the hitboxes being small and very conservative, so they want to match them up with the mesh instead of going ham with the hitboxes, right? I feel like those kinds of small, more nuanced hitbox issues are what's causing the fucking problem here, not the fucking lack of suck. The OG God of War was somewhat neat for contextualizing the big headboxes of Kratos, long range, and God of War 4, the chains. in God of War 4, he gets the same weapon at some point, but he barely uses the chains to extend his attacks. He just hits the stuff mostly holding his blades on this hand with a small hitbox. Yeah, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people do fucking hate it, and I'm just, like, stuck in a hardcore gamer bubble, you know? Maybe it is. I don't know. I just hope this does not become the new normal, like the coyote jumps plaguing platformers. I mean, coyote jumps can be fine, right? Because it's like, usually it's so minor, and it's like, it doesn't invalidate the main aspect of platformers, but this literally invalidates, because a lot of the more interesting interactions in melee range happen when it comes to these, like, small positioning, you know. A lot of the interactions come down to small positioning differences, not like these big swooping, like, oh, you press this button to counter this state. Whoa, hey, Mark.
How am I sounding?
Sounding pretty good. Let me boost you. Let me give you a boost.
Big
boost. Boost. Okay. Are you fucking witnessing what I'm witnessing? Let me share it.
Okay, I can actually, because I'm on my regular computer, I can actually see your stream.
Yeah, look at this. Well, you can check on Discord, right? Because that's real time.
Sure.
Yeah. Platforms are a visual cue for the last frame you can jump. Coyote jumps completely destroy that.
I don't know how far I missed in between plugging in my headphone and joining the stream, but you were asking why don't they make the hitboxes more juicy and Devil May Cry 3-like? Yeah. I can actually answer that for you. The reason why they don't do that is because it's not realistic to have a hitbox extend out from the model of your axe.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And they want that juicy realism, baby.
Yeah, they're on the other kind of
juice. Make sure that tiny little bitch.
Yeah, but then that backfires because now they have to suck the target. Yeah,
of course, it's stupid. But
yeah, not only not only does it like backfire in terms of gameplay, but it also backfires in terms of realism. Because you know, where the fuck do you get sucked to target in real life? Where do you get sucked? I mean, maybe in like a back alley you can get sucked, but not in a fucking fight. I've never seen people get sucked in a fight. Maybe they could be. I don't know.
Well, the funny part is about this whole like realism in gaming is. It's so stupid of a concept because exactly like you try to make something realistic and then you have to introduce something that makes no fucking sense anyway. It's like, is it more realistic to have a giant hitbox extend out from a physical object? Or is it more realistic to have your guy fly across the screen pulled by a magnetism force?
We don't say that anymore. We say suck to target, Mark. Give it the fucking time.
Yeah, sucked in by a force beyond your consent.
I will always.
You know what? I'm just saying. Don't you think it's a little messed up? You're getting sucked. What if you don't want to get sucked?
Yeah, you don't want to get sucked.
What if you're not consenting to this sucking action?
Yeah, you're not consenting to the suck. What the fuck? Why are you sucking me?
What is this, prison?
Yeah. Man just said magnetism. Exactly. Yeah, fuck. You're fucking walking down the street, you see an enemy, and he just sucks you. What the fuck?
He sucks you into him, and before you know it, you're sucking him, and it's all gone wrong.
Yeah. If you disguise them with some effects, big hurt and hitboxes aren't a problem. They're never a problem on the player's side. It always feels good. Like even if it doesn't look right, it just feels good.
This is like game dev egghead stuff where they're sitting around in their rooms and they're we need to make this more realistic and take this beyond, immersive and all that.
These hitboxes look mighty unsightly. We gotta tone them down a little bit. I watched a boxing match where the fighter just sucked towards the. I got the fucking sucked shit. It's so stupid. God bless. Blessed.
Do you think he knows? Do you think this presenter is too much of a nerd to know how ridiculous it is that he's saying suck?
Oh no, well, he's doing this on the GDC, but on the team they were fucking laughing their ass off. I'm absolutely sure. Like, there's no way they're not fucking laughing at suck the target. Come on, like. Maybe they are nerds. I don't know. Does he look that nerd? I don't think so. I mean, the fucking other guy, he was bald for starters. This guy isn't even bald. What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, he's not evil. The other guy was evil. This guy's not evil.
What? No, not Kane, not that bald guy. The fucking the other guy, God of War bald guy, the black dude. Remember?
Oh, I didn't see that
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
No,
oh,
I didn't see
you,
that part.
oh my, you didn't see my fucking VOD? What the fuck?
Dude, I was watching Prisoners, and then I joined the stream. Don't be mad at me.
Well, I
be
mean,
mad.
the VOD was weeks ago, dude.
Oh, was that the one that I came in on the end on, and we talked about Spider-Man?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that guy was.
I don't need to see the VOD when I'm in the VOD, baby.
Okay, yeah. This is one of the rare fucking non-bald developers that are covering. It's fucked up.
Well, just wait. 1 year from now, he's gonna get
Talking
promoted and
about
shave
bald
that
guys
head.
again. I don't know. Bald guys so far, a bit suspicious. Gotta say.
It's a rite of passage. You know, it's like if you want to join the GDC crew, you got to shave your head.
Yeah, they fucking shave you on the entrance. You know, two fucking big dudes suck up to you and suck right up to you and be
They
like,
suck your hair right off your head.
the fucking razor, not the fucking razor blade sucks right up to your scalp. Beautiful.
It's a
Both
Floby
aim
or
friction
whatever
and
they're
zoom
called.
snapping. Aim friction refers to the system slowing the reticle over targets as you pass them by. And zoom snapping is the
This
system
is
which
so.
snaps the
This is so funny because I was going to mention this whole suck the target system seems like a system you'd use for like a homing shot in a game. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we need to make automatic homing shots. This is kind of the system you'd use.
Yeah. And early on, I was commenting on how much of the gameplay resembles a third-person shooter, with a lot of the third-person shooter problems, like off-screen projectiles, right? And they have to
Yeah.
solve that shit. Even the enemy design is apparently very centered around ranged attacks. Because let's see, the problem is like they want to have really challenging, difficult combat, but also these wide open fucking areas where it's easy to run away. And you can't have both, because then the player's like, "Oh fuck this difficult shit! I'm just gonna peace out." And as a result, they have to like squish the they have to like do what Bayonetta does with jumping, where they have to remove the difference between being close to enemies and being far.
Yeah. Just have it all be the same.
Which I like. I like that Ninja Gaiden 2 does it. It's just like, maybe not necessarily the best choice. Because Ninja Gaiden, like, what other games like it, which have like biggish arenas and like open space, can you think of that actually make it so that the staying away from enemies is as risky or more risky than going on the offensive? I cannot think of anything.
I can't. Yeah, the rocket spam in NG2 is infamous. It's a unique creature.
Yeah, incendiary, the shuriken spam and shit. Yeah.
The shurikens and the rocket spam. Yeah, they do not like you to run away. They're like,
Yeah,
no,
like,
no.
well, you can run away, right? But even then, like, you're not.
Yeah, but where are you gonna run to?
Yeah, true.
You're just gonna run in a circle. You're not gonna do anything.
Yeah, as soon as you stop. Spartan Total Warrior. Okay, that might be a game. I don't know if anyone's played this besides you, Okako. Difficult just becomes
Toho.
getting pelted with fireballs while chopping away at sandbag enemies or big bulky enemies with armor. Explosive archers, enough said.
on
There you
building both
go.
aim friction and zoom snapping.
Zoom
Aim
swap.
friction refers to the system slowing the reticle.
This
over
reminds me of
targets as you pass them
the shoot 'em up I'm working
It's
on.
auto aim. All it is auto aim.
Yeah.
They're so excited about this. It's called auto aim. Relax, guys.
You should be a
It's like,
GDC.
okay, we got this mechanic where like if you put your reticle like near them, it'll like auto target to them.
but
This is like a whole new concept.
in FPS
Suck
games.
to aim.
Suck the target FPS edition. But in FPS, it's really simple, right? Because the target is literally like proximity based most of the time. But here it's like you fucking.
No, this is even in third-person shooters. Wanted Dead has auto assist aim.
Well, yeah.
when you're
What I'm
shooting
saying
enemies
is
with
that
your
what I'm
gun.
saying is that aim assist tends to be a lot more simple because there's less factors. Like you have direct control. It's just like close to reticle, right?
Well, this has an invisible reticle. I mean,
It does,
they
yeah.
don't
But what I'm
show it
saying
on
is,
screen,
yeah.
but
But what I'm
it
saying
clearly
is,
has the reticle.
well, yeah. But what I'm saying is, on top of the reticle, you also have character positioning, the inputs you do when doing the attack itself. Like there's a million other factors that interplay in very vague ways. It's fucked up.
by. And zoom snapping is a system which snaps
Hit scan is instant suck. This is like the Sonic guy discovering scoring.
the reticle directly to a nearby target.
Oh yeah.
As
That's
you can
a
see,
great
both of
video.
these systems were tuned very liberally, as we wanted to encourage players to mix ranged and melee attacks easily without hassle. In doing so, we made it on the player's side. Kratos could both swing and throw while attacking an enemy fluidly.
Is this supposed
All
to
right,
be good?
I know. I talked earlier about how other games use lock-on and that it isn't very God of War.
Yeah.
And I meant it. It was a directive from the top to make the game completely playable without a lock-on system, since managing
Why
lock-on...
do they hate lock-on so much? I don't fucking get it. Why?
Because Devil May Cry has lock on, and
So
they're
what?
like, baby.
I do.
This
like,
is a Western
I am
game,
completely. I am completely like neutral on lock-on because people like clown on the gaming Brit for wanting lock-ons. I'm like, oh, if they added lock-on to Ninja Gaiden, I wouldn't like it wouldn't ruin the game. It would maybe like be useful in some situations, not useful in others. It wouldn't fucking destroy the game. It wouldn't not work. Bayonetta lock-on works, you know. It wouldn't be great. It wouldn't be perfect. There'd be some issues, but it's not like a fucking game ruining thing. It's same here. Like, what the fuck would they lose from a lock-on? What's the issue? What is not God of War about it? Because you're abandoning. When I think of God of War, I think of like you swinging those big fucking blades around while choosing which direction to do it mid swing, pretty much. Well, not mid swing, but like mid string. But this is not like that at all because of the suck.
Well, they want to take away as much manual control as possible, and lock-on is a little bit too manual, probably.
Yeah.
It sounds automated, but you have to like manually set the lock-on, and then you have to manually manage what it's up to, and
Yeah.
it's going to override all their sucking. Lock-on overrides the sucking, and they don't want that, so get it out of here.
Yeah, they want to suck max. Hyperfist.
Yeah, they want maximum suckage.
It would be like MGR's lock-on, which works maybe 20% of the time, but it's better than not having it. IMO. Yeah. I mean, it's like a situational tool. It's fine. It's not something to fucking mock the Brit for, you know.
Well, I think the thing about it is the Brit was like, I don't think he understands that like Ninja Gaiden functions without the lock on. And
Well, partly his main complaint was that some stuff like, for example, Flying Swallow in the original game, like the input is a little bit iffy without the precision
Right.
of the lock-on, so it's a little bit more contextual. Right. So it's not like he didn't have a fucking point. It's just like, yeah, you. I feel like it's like the Mayo situation, where his original point was mild. People mocked him for it, and he doubled down on it. And it's like people now treat it as like every game needs a lock on or it sucks. When originally he's like, oh, it would be nice to have. I don't know. The Brit deserves to be mocked for reviewing Ninja Gaiden 2 without mentioning the OTs even once. Damn.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He should be commended for that, and he should be given
not
an award.
UTs, OTs, the obliteration techniques.
Oh. Well, why does he have to mention them?
They're cool.
I don't agree with this philosophy that if you review a game, you have to mention something unless you have something to say about it.
But
what if he just likes OTs and he's fine with them, and he has nothing
to say
OTs
about them? But OTs are cool. Well, I mean, there's...
They are cool, but what if he has nothing to say about it? What if
They're like
he
the main
agrees with
mechanic
everyone
of the game. They're
because
like...
remember, reviews take place in context, right? So maybe he watched other reviews of Ninja Gaiden 2, and he's like, everyone talks about OTs. Yeah. I agree with what everyone says, so I'm going to talk about something else.
Well, they are a bit of a... Well, I mean, he talked about a bunch of pointless fucking bullshit as well. But also, like...
Yeah.
It's not like his fucking critique was like, oh, let me focus on...
I'm just saying I don't want this to be a precedent.
Yeah,
because sometimes I look at mechanics in games, I'm like, yeah, we've all said the same thing about this. I'm not going to even talk about it, because we've all said the same thing, and let's move on.
Yeah. Yeah, like...
So maybe he felt that way about OTs. He's like, yeah, everyone loves them. They're legendary. They're highly influential, obviously. So, next, let's talk about targeting.
How'd you feel about UTs if they were short?
Me?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that make them even worse at that point?
No, but what do you mean worse? No, I mean like it's like instead of being like a big fucking combo with like a million iframes, it would be like you do one attack and that's like a UT.
I still would have a problem with them because it overrides so much of the other gameplay. It's not just that you have to sit through the cutscene. It's also like it overrides.
No,
like
but what I mean
everything.
is, yeah, well, it does, but also I feel like if it's like a single attack, it's more easy to kind of.
But imagine if you just let's say they replaced it with like a giant animation where you just swing your sword and it cuts people in half. So then your gameplay would just be jump, swing, jump, swing, jump. It would still suck.
Yeah, I feel like I don't think it's quite that repetitive a lot of the time, but yeah, Yeah, I think. I guess so. I guess that would do the opposite. It would highlight how repetitive it is. Because I'm thinking like
Yeah.
do you know fuck, Momiji and Ninja Gaiden 3? Have you seen any of her gameplay? Let me actually look that up real quick.
I've played her plenty of times, but not optimally. Probably.
Yeah. 3 Razor's Edge Momiji. Let's see. There should be some good videos on this shit. Chaos. Yeah, this guy's good. He's good.
Her cop outfit's also really
I hate how dark Razor's Edge is. It's just so fucking dark.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the color in this game compared to 2.
Yeah.
It kind of makes the game look a little cheaper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just kind of looks cheaper than 2 for some reason.
What the
And it's not super easy to exactly pinpoint why,
Hold on.
but it just does.
Okay, I need another Momiji video. Wait, this guy's
She has a more limited moveset, if that's what you mean.
No,
yeah,
no,
she
what
doesn't
I-
have a whole lot of stuff to work with.
No. That's it is kind of what I mean, but also I mean something else. I think this is a good demonstration. This should be a good demonstration. This fucking Ninja Child, dude. Holy shit. Fucking two the vampire dudes, 2 electric vampires dudes, and the demon guy. What the fuck? They're out
The
of their
ninja trials in this game are wild.
Well, they're designed for co-op, right? But this is fucking insane. What the fuck? But also, hold on. Where the fuck was it? Because this is like this guy has used a lot of HP printer. Let's see. Fuck. I'm trying to find.
That's a nasty combo right there.
Yeah. Well, this is like fucking nasty combo city right here. Oh god. It hurts me just seeing this. Jesus. This is the first minute, by the way. Yes. Okay. Fuck. What? Oh, come on. Start spamming it. I beg you. Okay. Whatever. I guess it doesn't matter. But he does like a jump attack and then does a follow up a lot at some points.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, that's what UTs would look like if they didn't have those fancy animations. And I feel like it would be easier to see the problem with them if you actually. Well, I guess it would be like fucking Site 360 spam in Razor's Edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that obviously, like, anyone looks at it, they're like, "Oh, this fucking sucks." With UTs, a lot of people do defend them. I don't like it.
Me neither.
Yeah, now you're heartbroken knowing that it was fully intentional.
I know.
It's so sad.
Denial is still possible though, so I might stick with that.
Itagaki would never.
For many players.
Never.
And honestly, for most of development,
this is a
right up
frame.
until
He was
really
framed.
close to ship.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, someone else just framed him and then kicked him out of the company.
Sorry,
Exactly.
we didn't have it at all. In the end, however, we realized through playtest feedback that some players just always wanted lock-on, partly due to the fact that they were already familiar with it from other games and kind of expected the same. Players approached the game quite differently with lock-on, and that's okay. But it also meant that we needed to develop a lock-on system late into the project that could work, even if the game wasn't designed around it. And many players might have experienced frustrations with using the system.
That is so fucking weird. Like the fact that they overcomplicated everything else made because you think of a lock-on system, it's like why would that be difficult to implement? All it does is just
because of all the sucking.
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean, right? Without the sucking, add lock-on. Okay, I added added lock-on, but now you have like these fucking the sucking, the multi-dimensional lateral sucking, and it's like what the fuck? Now implementing the goddamn lock-on is actually difficult, I suppose.
For this very reason. We used our already existing melee target as the initial locked target when the lock-on system became engaged, so the transition would be smooth. The right stick could be flipped in a direction to change the target selection in screen space, as opposed to cycling through an ordered list, to make it a bit more intuitive when fighting multiple enemies. We decided to allow players to adjust the camera's elevation, even when they were locked onto a target, unlike most implementations of the feature, so they could still see elevated points of interest, or even just take in the environment without losing their target. One particularly interesting feature we added to lock-on happens when
Mark, what do you think about sucking to Legend Smash?
Oh, in the later Smash games, it's terrible. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, see, sucking sucks everywhere. That's what it is.
It really is a problem because if you try to do a little bit more like fun little shenanigans below the edge, you can't because you just snap onto it. So
yeah, like a lot of the fun, in Melee games. I mean, Melee, it's in the fucking name, Melee range. Short range, basically, more or less. Like all the fun dynamics are in short range, micro movements.
It also makes edge guarding people a nightmare, and that's the whole point. the whole point of the sucking to ledge in the later Melee or Smash games is because they saw stuff like down tilt spikes and stuff in Melee. They're like, no.
I kind of respect.
No.
I respect that more than this type of sucking, where they're not even acknowledging. But with Melee, it's like, okay, we hate how they're playing the game, so we're just going to change. I respect that more.
Yeah.
It's more evil, but it's evil in a cool, respectable way.
Allow you to aim around.
Well, I don't think they quite know what they're doing with this game. They're kind of like trying to put together.
I think they do.
Design.
I think they do because he laid out some design pillars early on, and he's following them pretty well because he wants like a feeling of empowerment. So that's why the sucking exists, so the player doesn't miss. He wants like accessibility, and he wants just like a kind of a game where the player
these are not like, for me, these are not core concepts of like to make a game. These are like core concepts of like
to
how
suck a player,
accessible
basically.
you want. Yeah, how accessible you want your game to be, but like that there's not like a core vision of combat with that. It's just like, okay, make combat easy.
Yeah.
Right, but what is the combat?
Yeah.
What is it?
Well,
And
there
I
is
think
like
they're kind of like figuring it out as they
well,
go.
there are some other.
We're adding in some range stuff.
There are
now
some.
We're gonna have lock on for some reason.
There are some.
To me, it seems pretty unfocused.
No, there are some pillars which make sense. Like for example, he was talking about attacks that move Kratos forward and just like constant aggression. So he wants to like just have the player always like move towards the enemies and shit.
Well, he definitely accomplished that. That's
well,
for sure.
but think about the other way, right? If they made it difficult, then there's nothing stopping you from kind of playing hit and run tactics. Nothing. Really.
I know. I don't know why you hate hit and run so much. I like it. Why do you have to full on aggro everything all the time? Why can't you do some hit and run?
Well, because it's boring. Well, I mean, you can do some hit and
so.
run. I mean, it makes sense sometimes, but it should be like a situational thing, right? But here it's like a dominant strat.
Well, no, you're not hit and running nothing in this one. You're sucked into it.
No, but what I'm saying, okay, you're sucked into it, then you dodge away, and then you run. Maybe I don't know. Apparently, though, like projectiles do make that more complicated. But the fact is, like, I don't know. I wish I played this fucking game. I wish I could just like.
I don't think you can fully hit and run in the sense that I mean, because you can't have that really precise hitbox placement and movement because you're getting sucked. You're getting sucked into things.
Yeah, well, unsuck yourself with a roll because there's suck and there's counter suck, which is the iframe roll, which this game has.
Yeah, but that's not what you're supposed to do. Like that's lame. Like what I'm talking about is like stuff in Ninja Gaiden. I know you hate this, but like where you put yourself right outside the range of the bosses, so you pop into the range, slash them a bit, and then step back out.
I mean,
I
like that. I don't like anything.
Moving in and out of their ranges.
I like that. I just don't like that. There's nothing else besides that. That's what I don't fucking like. I like the kind of like a spacing game. That's fun.
Yeah. Well, there is because they start throwing in like mooks and stuff.
Counter suck are the bad guys in this story.
Retain your lock-on target, so you'll return to it when the aim button is released. Keeping with the goal of supporting fights with multiple enemies, this feature allows players to handle 2 enemies at once even when using lock-on, as they could focus primarily on their locked-on target and occasionally throw their axe at the other. We've covered systems that help players.
What do you think about that?
Wait, let me re-listen.
So you lock onto a target, but you still won't throw your axe at it.
This feature allows players to handle 2 enemies at once even when using lock-on, as they could focus primarily on
then how you
lock-on target and occasionally throw their axe at the other.
Oh no, this makes sense. This is good. I like this because this the axe is like an FPS gun. It's aimed. It's not automated.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So then, what's the point of locking on though?
Melee, and to keep your kind of like character.
Oh yeah, you need to lock on for melee.
Yeah. So think about fucking the blade mode in the MGR, right?
Yeah.
You can keep. Can you keep being locked onto a target while going? I think that breaks your lock on, but here it's like it doesn't break your lock on. Yeah, so here it's like it doesn't break your lock on, so you could quickly do blade mode to kill an enemy from far away and shit. And yeah, finally back. What's suction?
But what if you want to have your axes automatically target him?
Well, you can't automatically target. You have to manually.
Isn't that the whole?
No,
Isn't that the whole point of a lock-on, though?
no, but
It's not like
it
literally
is,
the
it is
point
with
of it.
no, you're because this is not a melee attack. This is a sword throw, and it functions
Yeah, but-
exactly like a gunshot.
Think of DMC, right?
Yeah.
You lock onto an enemy
Yeah.
and you shoot your gun.
Okay.
Where
But
does your gun go?
But that doesn't work in God of War, from what I understand. It doesn't work because like you always have to aim the axe manually. So it's not like it doesn't matter what you do. You always have to aim it manually.
Yeah, I get that, but then why have a lock-on?
Well, for melee attacks, so you can override the suck.
Oh my gosh. They're making this so much more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah, they have like a million fucking
They're
systems
like,
now.
They've like done it backwards, where they're like, okay, we're gonna automatically suck you into enemies, except if you lock onto them.
I mean, it's like Bayonetta dodge offset, dude. It's the same fucking
it's
shit.
like backwards completely. Yeah.
It's like Bayonetta dodge offset. It's like, oh,
How about you just have the range or the melee combat be free swinging, and then if you want it to automatically track, then you lock on.
yeah, then
How about that?
you activate the fucking suck. Seems like a reasonable. Yeah, actually, that'd be pretty fun. Think about like you have
Yes, if it was a manual lock on.
a manual lock
but
on
they've
that
done this
sucks you in.
backwards.
Yeah, that's a good point because that would be a lot more fun. So you opt into the consensual sucking. Always ask for
Consensual
consent.
sucking.
Yeah.
Very important.
Always
Fellas,
ask for
very
consent,
important.
kids. Jesus.
Yes. Do we have to say this, GDC?
Now that
Is
we've covered systems
GDC
that
against
track-
consent? Is that what we're learning today?
Oh my god, they are against consent, dude.
They are.
Oh my god.
Target their enemies.
That's what I
Let's focus
learned
on
from
those
this
which help players
presentation.
continue to combat them once they hit our
They kind of are, yeah. And ironically,
already been engaged.
you're gonna get sucked and you're gonna love it.
To better understand this, let's take a minute to talk about animation translation and how it affects engaging enemies in combat. I mentioned during the introduction that having exaggerated and fun enemy hit reactions, as well as strong attacks for Kratos, which move him forward through the space, were both integral to our combat system's identity.
Oh
These
yeah,
two
we're getting some good shit.
hope so.
Fucking hit reactions, baby. Finally, they're giving us crumbs, dude.
concepts play into each other due to animation translation. God of War enemies translate backwards substantially during hit reactions. As a result, Kratos is always moving forward to keep up. Eventually, Kratos and the enemy keep moving in one direction.
But wait, what the fuck is the point then? Why even push them? The point of pushback is that it's used as a balancing tool for moves, right? In fighting games, you have like block stun pushback. Then you can't do certain combo. It makes the combo game more interesting, complicates it, and also naturally balances certain moves because they do a lot of pushback for even though they have a massive range. So you can't like just spam them. What the fuck? So literally,
Maybe this is one of those examples where
why?
they look at a convention and they kind of forget the root of the convention. So they look at okay, basically they're looking at it like backwards. Like in fighting games, you have backwards hit reactions to get out of range, right? Yeah, so
Yeah.
you can't do like infinite combos and stuff like that. But they're kind of more coming from it like, isn't it kind of annoying when you like combo people how they move backwards? Like what if you like move forward with them? Like
Yeah,
wouldn't that
yeah.
make the combos easier?
Yeah, a lot of the
It's
game is like
yeah, it makes the combos easier, but
the whole and it's like why is this game such a fucking conflict of every system? It's like they make a system, then they undermine it. They make it another one, undermine it. It's like a constant fucking mess.
make a
of
lock on, but it doesn't automatically.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
track
like
your shot.
they make
Yeah.
they make the suck system, then they undermine it. They fucking have space. They have like a soft block, and it's like a nightmare. Yeah, like Bam says, systems are competitive. Yeah, it's like the systems can't fucking live together. They gotta fight. They put in the fucking gladiator arena, pit against each other. It's very strange. It's very frustrating to even fucking witness how this game comes together. And the fun, it is kind of fucked up that we haven't played it though. So maybe it completely works.
I am never gonna play this game. I don't care. So this is your stream. This is your responsibility.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
This is on your head, Bob.
Yeah, I gotta keep it in check. Well, for just God of War fan that's actually interested in me covering this shit. I don't know what the fuck he expects. Since I haven't played the game, but maybe he wanted me to hear "suck the target" really badly.
He wanted to hear all about the sucking.
Yeah, he skips it, checks that section, then dips out.
Cover a large distance over the course of a combo. One problem is that animation translation like this was challenging with the new camera. It's
Oh, this is
easy to
gonna
knock
be
enemies
interesting.
off screen to the left or to the right, and zooming forward through the world is disorienting as you see the environment pass rapidly by you.
Huh?
There's also the
What
fundamental
the
issue
what?
that in this perspective,
What? What the fuck
What is he talking about?
What are they saying? I don't understand.
Is he Sonic the Hedgehog? What is he
I want to
talking
see what,
about?
like, I feel like this is probably some kind of focus tested bullshit where it's like, you know, they found
Yeah.
some studies, but like, I want to see the studies. Can you show me that shit? Because, like, this is like alien shit. Who the fuck is he talking about? I'd say it's the thing of making an experience tailored for every player. If they don't want to engage with some of the systems, they can just change them for their liking. Well, exactly, yeah. It's like they want to appeal to the casual, they want to appeal to the hardcore. It's like a fucking nightmare. Knockback is meant for feel, but it sounds like they're just magnetizing Kratos everywhere, which fucks the purpose of positioning. Yeah, I mean, knockback. Well, it's not knockback. It's pushback.
It literally causes a balance problem.
And also,
if you automatically move them along with them,
yeah,
you can just combo them constantly.
Yeah, and also pushback. You don't need pushback to make a game that feels good. There's games that feel good without pushback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Streets Rage has pushback, does it? Streets Rage 2? That doesn't have pushback, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Most beat 'em ups don't have pushback, and they have really nice, juicy hit react. Like, say what you will about how stiff a lot of other stuff feels, but like the hit reactions feel good. Like, yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I was talking about this with the game developer. I'm like, okay, you know, you see a buff guy with jeans, like 80s looking buff guy with jeans, and it needs to feel a bit stiff. It would feel wrong if, like, you play an anime
Right,
beat 'em
yeah.
up. You play an anime beat 'em up. You expect the moves to flow into each other. But if you see a fucking buff dude with like a fucking like 80s haircut,
I love the animations of like Final Fight and stuff.
Yeah,
How they're
there's
like
something-
they're a little bit more like choppy and masculine. I like.
yeah,
it.
that's
You know,
exactly.
It
It's
gives
like,
it a feel.
It's like the animation equivalent of fucking brutalism in architecture. You know, like the fucking
exactly.
the fucking commie
Yeah.
blocks and shit. There you go.
Exactly. You know, this is the problem with like newer Tekken games where they made the animations too fluid. So they look at Tekken 8. I was playing the Tekken
Yeah.
8 demo today. The fucking backdash animations look terrible. Not because they look terrible, but because it looks mushy and weird. It just looks really and you look at like older backdash animations and they look so crispy and fresh. And does it look
Yeah,
crazy?
there's like just
Sure.
Yeah, it's just something.
Seven is kind of mushy too. Though.
Yeah, it's
You
just
should look
something
at,
really-
Okay, look at this, and then look at like Tekken Tag or Tekken 3. Their backdash.
Yeah,
See
there's-
how mushy that looks?
Yeah, it's
look how mushy that looks.
It's interpolated.
Oh my god!
And also,
look at this.
yeah, and
Look at this.
there's something really nice about how, like, you know, you see a direct response to every single input you make. It's like instant fucking
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, look how mushy the backdash is. 7's kind of mushy too. So 7 is not a shining example. It gets
See,
kinda
that's
mushy too.
one of the big things.
But look how mushy this is.
Yeah.
What the
Yeah,
fuck
just
is
like
happening?
Yeah, it's interpolated. It's literally they cannot keep up with you. The characters are not keeping up with your inputs.
Yeah.
They're like trying
and the
to.
thing about it is when you're doing the actual input, it does fuck with your head a little bit because you're like, is it working? Look at Tekken 3s. Tekken 3s are like the crispiest ever.
Korean backdash. Fuck. Korean.
It's actually hard to find Tekken 3 Korean backdashes.
What the fuck? Evolution of the backdash. All right. Come on. Yeah, it's like just still a little bit. Yeah. You know what?
One does not have. I don't think this is it because I don't think these are Korean. These are just regulars.
Right. Regular back. I
You
guess
need the-
that would be.
You need the Koreans.
Yeah, it's very snappy. Even
Yeah,
the
that's not a
backdashes.
Korean
Yeah,
backdash.
yeah,
This
no.
guy cannot
Oh,
Korean backdash. Okay, there we go. There we go.
There we go.
He's
Yep,
kind of
there we
doing
go.
it. It's not great,
It's-
but he's kind of doing it.
Yeah. It's more snappy. It's
Look
not.
up Tekken 3 Jintas. Look up Tekken 3 Jintas. There's this guy who does these great tasks.
Jun Kozomo.
Yeah, this motherfucker.
Arcade version.
He should
Oh,
be.
shit.
He should be doing some backdashing. What is he doing? What is he doing? What are you doing, you crazy bastard?
Yes, you called out the interpolation finally, dude. Have you? Check my vods. I did a video fucking talking. I did a video talking shit about interpolation for like over an hour or like an hour and a half. I
Okay, so
fucking
this guy does
hate.
not believe in backdashing. Apparently,
I fucking hate interpolation so fucking much. Just garbage. Yeah, look, oh god.
look up Tekken 3 tournament, and I think there's some like people in like
Class? Oh, tournament isn't like literally. I was like, fucking.
a tournament.
I was
yeah.
confused
like a
for
real
a second.
tournament.
Oh yeah.
Okay, there you go. Now, these fuckers better know how to Korean backdash.
A tournament where no one knows how to backdash. I don't keep up with all the VODs. Recommend me one. The latest one. The previous God of War thing is the one. Like the latest one, the top of the playlist. That's the one. That's the one where I just complain about interpolation nonstop.
Why is no one backdashing? What is happening?
It's a lost. Backdashing is lost media. Yeah.
It is lost media. No one knows how to Korean backdash apparently.
And
anyway, the animations are really snappy.
Yeah, we get the point anyway. Even you know, I will say I really don't like that aspect of Ninja Gaiden 3 and just Ninja Gaiden 2 even, where it just you do an input and it's just like the character kind of flows into strings. It feels like half the time I'm not barely fucking controlling the character. I really like how it's like you press a button.
It was
input.
better and it gets progressively.
Yeah, black
better.
is the
it's like
best.
The least. Yeah, it's least like that in black.
Yeah, black.
And then
is the
in 2,
best.
it's kind of flowy, and then 3, it's like full on.
Yeah, just you get
Who's
used to
playing?
it. You get you get used to it, but it does feel kind of fucking weird. It was like, what the fuck am I even doing? It's like there's just no relate. You press a button and it's like there's a million buffer frames, you know. So you press a button, fucking 2 seconds later that attack comes out. Like it's just so fucking squishy and weird. Just, I love the fucking final fight. You press an attack, you do an attack, fucking instant fucking attack. Then if you want to do another attack, you gotta wait for it to end. So it's like, you know, just something really nice about that. Even though it does feel stiff to a lot of people, I think you can really grow to appreciate that kind of play style.
Yeah.
Brutalism, dude.
Completely.
The masculine nature of brutalism.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's why. Well, that's why if you see like a fucking like an anime girl, you expect strings and all that shit. If you see a buff dude, you need that fucking light input buffer, fucking stiffness. Yeah. Do you know the Takeover? Because I wanted to ask you.
That sounds familiar.
It's a game. It's a beat 'em up, which is not good, but and people shit on its visuals a lot. Right? They shit on its visuals a lot.
Okay.
But I kind of like its overall kind of feel. It's kind of King of Fighter-ish. Wait,
its visuals, or are you talking about its gameplay?
Visuals, but also okay. Well, let me show you this. Also, look at the length. Like people shit on the visuals. Holy, they hated it, but I kind of like it. I kind of dig it. I don't know.
Let me see it.
Why are you buffering? If fucking YouTube.
Why are you buffering?
Let me change the quality. Maybe I'll snap it out. Yeah, okay. Increasing the quality helped.
Oh my god, people! You know what this looks exactly like?
Yeah.
Almost Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Oh god.
It's like the same shit.
Yeah.
It looks worse, but it's like the same art style.
Yeah, but look at how like the stiffness. I like it, dude. I like it. It's like everything is really like specific, you know.
Snappy,
just specific. Yeah. This game isn't that good though.
It's kind of fun.
It's kind of boring.
Oh, the gameplay sucks.
Like it's not bad. It's not like it has the fundamentals down, but the pacing is shit, and the enemies are really boring. Their AI fucking sucks. They just kind of. Like,
They just kind of stand there and beat me up.
Yeah, and there's a lot of phase breakers. Everything's just kind of slow and boring. But like they could turn this game into a really fun beat 'em up if they wanted to. I think I do like the whole feel of it. People shout on its visuals, dude. God, I've seen some fucking people annihilate.
I don't understand the internet's taste, because every time I think I understand the internet's taste, they will like be surprisingly tolerant to shit. I'm like, how? What? How? And then other times, I think things look like
these models and lighting,
and they just like mock it completely.
These models,
it's just interesting.
Yeah, these models and lighting, I can't. I see even Chad is fucking like vomiting over here. You know, what I like about it is that it commits. It doesn't feel like it has like this whole art style, which is like bloomy, like kind of like rubbery, you know. But it works. It like commits to it fully.
I don't think it's that bad. It reminds me a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, the only thing that really suck is the UI looks like fucking shit. What the fuck is this? Like the HUD.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. They didn't know what to do there.
You know what? The more I look at it, the more I'm thinking, yeah, it's like just, it's not that bad. I don't know. People give it too hard of a time. There's some,
Yeah, but the weird thing. Oh, look at those hit sparks.
yeah, the hit sparks are
Damn.
top notch. Yeah,
Hit
look at
sparks are not fucking around.
that. Yeah.
I like those.
Also, see,
Yeah,
this
it's just weird how sometimes if you have like a kind of weird art style, it's hard to predict how the internet will feel about it.
Tank
'Cause
Theta,
sometimes the internet
it
will be
looks-
like crazy harsh, and then other times they're like, no, it's fine.
Yeah, Tank Teeth, it looks a bit stiff and robotic animation-wise, but that's cool. You know how King of Fighters has a little bit of that effect as well, but it's like it looks cool. The characters have like long limbs. They have like these fucking juicy hit sparks, and it's like their whole body is stiff and it's like a disciplined, you know, like karate poses. You know, I like that. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, if you get over flowy, it loses kind of its impact. That's the problem.
Yeah, it just it's stiff and, you know, in a cool way, I find. Yeah, I wish
Maybe
this game was better.
they literally could just loosen up her walk animation.
Probably.
Maybe that's the problem.
Possibly.
Maybe the walk animation's kind of a little funky.
It looks like Bayo, the proportions, you know.
Yeah.
Very long legs. I love long limbs in characters, and you know, with these kinds of games.
Yeah, it just translates well. But they should. I think it's her walk animation. I'm quite sure. That's the problem. Her walk animation is a little. She needs a little Bayo jaunt. You know how Bayo has that little hip sway? She needs some hip sway going.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
That's the problem.
And also, just like her attacks have like a wide stance, and when she walks, it's like a very thin profile.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So they need to, they need to kind of like move, because a lot of fighting games that they kind of rotate the characters around, so they're kind of sort of facing the camera. Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, it's like acting. They stand open to camera, even if it doesn't make sense. It makes sense visually.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I mean, I like this. Whatever. Just it looks good.
Okay, next vid.
What?
What else you got?
Yeah. Well, hold on.
Is naturally disadvantageous.
Well, we can hold on. We can watch the Megman thing actually, if you want to try.
What's the selection? I'll pick what we got to choose from.
Fucking lads, an analysis of difficulty spikes. Mega Man 1, really weird. Mega Man 1's really weird scoring system. Practical creativity and level design of Celeste. The last one Krigor sent. Why French games have always been ahead of their time.
Oh my god. Okay.
I wonder if there's some bias
I think you
there.
need Krieger for that one.
Once you see no excuses. Yeah.
Okay, let's go with Mega Man's really weird score system.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is gonna be interesting. Probably gonna piss us off.
Can you turn up the quality?
The quality? What is wrong with the quality?
I'm seeing like super pixelated stuff.
Like all the time, or is it just now? Stream quality?
Just.
I need nitro. I can't. I'm max quality.
No, I mean on YouTube. Isn't your YouTube quality low?
No, it's 180p.
Oh, okay. I guess it is what it is.
1080p. I mean, not 190p. Jesus fucking Christ, brain cooked. Let's see. I mean, it's Mega Man. Do we really need to see that much? It's just pixels.
It'll be.
There's a lot of things that sets Mega
What
Man
the fuck? That's my quality.
apart from its sequels. It's the only mainline game with
Kinda
6
nostalgia.
RoboMasters.
How do you come across every video essay? People just send them to me now. They're like, oh, I found something that will annoy Bog. Check this out.
Yeah.
They'll fucking get DMs.
It's like a call and request show.
Basically call-in show. Except they get their fucking friend the video essays to annoy me.
Instead of 8, the item pickups look entirely different. The physics feel slightly off. Mega Man just feels heavier.
Damn it!
After you beat the bosses, you gotta collect this funky little doodad to end the stage. No idea what this thing
Doodad.
is, though the Japanese instruction manual, instruction poster, mentions needing to retrieve the RoboMaster's heart parts, so it's probably that. Iframes won't
This
protect
is
you
like
from
old
spikes.
school
There's a
YouTube. I'm digging it.
This really is, the vibe boys.
It's got like an old school feel to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, doodad. Well, Mega Man does give
editing
it.
style. And
Just kind of like a little bit scuffed, you know. That's how
What's the upload date on this?
It's new. It's new. It's very new. It's fresh. 12 days ago. Holy shit.
12 days ago.
12 days ago. Fresh. I think my streams have that old school quality to them as well. especially with the activated windows. Everyone has like these fancy banners and shit, like fucking layouts. And I'm looking at my own stream, and it's just fucking disgusting looking. It's just fucking activated windows visible, just fucking.
I know.
Yeah, just awful.
Welcome to the streets. This is the
Exactly.
the bog hog grog or something.
Yeah. I'm not doing that fancy shit. This is like the real grimy game analysis.
Yeah, like, you should have like like really really bad overlays from like
Yeah,
early days of Twitch.
Oh,
Like
dude,
the
I wanted
really
to
shitty
have
one.
I wanted to have a Shadow the Hedgehog overlay, but
yes.
I lost the fucking. I didn't realize the OBS didn't make a copy of the files, so I just fucking deleted the file.
You gotta get like some real grimy, shitty, old school overlays. Yeah,
Perfect.
like Shadow's perfect. That's great.
Perfect. Yeah.
Between the weapon menu and the pause menu, Capcom, your actions have consequences. And of course, Mega Man 1 is the only mainline Mega Man game to have a scoring system.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
So we can all
even
agree on high
JonTron
scores.
making an
Yeah.
appearance.
Fucking.
Guest appearance from JonTron.
Yeah. Just JonTron taking a break from his guard duty at the death camps.
Well, that was young JonTron. He didn't believe in that.
This was before he was polluted. Quality is somewhat inversely proportional to production values. So true.
Point system's pretty well.
It truly is sometimes.
Yeah. There were a lot of vestigial game mechanics that carried over
Welcome to the bog. Yeah, that's perfect. Fucking welcome to the bog. I'm the hog.
the consoles from the arcade days.
You're getting sucked into the bog.
You're getting super sucked.
Time limits and limited lives seem to have lasted the longest, but I think everybody agreed that
I
nobody
actually
was
really
playing-
like this Mega Man game, by the way.
One?
Mega Man 1 is like one of my favorites. Yeah.
That's okay.
It gets slept on. Wait. Oh, you got a problem with Mega Man 1?
Yeah. Bosses are ass. They're DPS races.
What?
They're DPS races. It's literally fucking DPS. It's just out DPS them. Even with the fucking Mega Buster. How are you gonna fucking?
it's not-
What, are you gonna know damage,
fun.
fireman? What are you fucking talking about? Go do it. Go do it. Record a fucking video, guy.
Oh, don't underestimate me.
Well, I mean, you could do
Don't
it after
ever do
fucking
that.
playing slot machines for a few hours, maybe. Yeah. Do it like 5 times in a row. I dare you, motherfucker. Yeah, okay. Anyway.
games for score. Simply put, the points don't matter.
Oh my God! Look,
Yeah. It's OG.
this is old school. This is all old. Yeah, this is straight out of like 2009.
Let's hope the points aren't old school though, because some of those fucking old school video essays. I play Mega Man and other things. Okay, he's a Mega Man fan, so that's Mega Man fans are like fucking OG.
Yeah, they go hard.
Marcus
Especially
used-
Mega Man 1. Mega Man 1's sick.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone talks
For
about 2.
score.
I'm here for 1. Let's do it, 1.
I like 9. No one likes 9 because it has too many spikes. And I was like, oh, where's the level design at? You just put spikes.
Is 9 the one on the Super Nintendo?
No, it's the one on the Wii. It's like a part of the rebirth wave of Mega Man games. Remember?
Oh, I don't even think I've ever played that one.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I also kind of like 11, the new one, right? Because it has like an interesting fucking spin with the like it feels like it's doing something fucking new for once. Jesus Christ! Because like Mega Man games are like just you played one, you played them all. Just Jesus fucking Christ!
How dare you?
It's true though. It's fucking true.
I know
I am a
it's
fan
true,
of
but
Mega
there's nothing
Man.
wrong with that.
Yeah,
People
what?
would say the same thing about Metal Slug. They'd be like, "Oh, you played one Metal Slug, you played all Metal Slugs." When it's good, you just
Well, I feel like Metal Slug has a more stronger escalation of like difficulty. Mega Man is like whatever.
Yeah, it does.
Just- yeah, like
Metal Slug literally gets harder with every
yeah, it
game.
gets harder, more intense, crazier. Just like there's something, you can kind of like linearly. If you play a Mega Man linearly,
You're
you fucking
right.
fall asleep.
You're right.
You were
I'm just trying to shit talk you. You're right.
damn
You're
the counter contrarian.
Because that's it. Yeah, I'm just being a contrarian. because
Yeah, this
I'm-
is
I
your
play
revenge
Mega
after
Man
I-
1 and 2. I played Mega Man 1 and 2. I'm like, we're good.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
good. We did it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
We've
about it.
done enough Mega Man now.
That's
yeah.
about it. Yeah, and I like
Until
Mega Man.
X,
It's just
till X rolls around, then then
well,
we'll
X is experimenting too hard at times. Jesus Christ, they fucking
love
cook
X.
too hard. Yeah, X is better. Yeah, I like X. Is more. There's more.
Oh, it's
stuff.
my favorite by far. Is X. Is it the best difficulty wise? Because it's kind of easy. No, but I still love it.
X2 is pretty good. Like it's more difficult.
Yeah.
Well, not a fan of X2? That was a...
Well, I don't know what it is. It's just like I played X and I loved it so much, and then I played X2 and I'm like, it doesn't have. I don't know. It's missing something. It's missing something.
Well, when was the last time you played it?
Pretty recently. When I did my No Death Megman X clear, I was like, oh, I'll play
When the
a
fuck
X2,
was that?
like,
What wasn't that like years and years ago? Was that like beginning of your channel or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, now you gotta. I think you appreciate iteration more now, right? After Resident Evil 5.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to try it.
Yeah, we'll have to replay it again.
Okay, I'll give it a.
The weapons on X2 suck. Thank God we're not fucking using weapons here because we're not dirty casuals.
Buster only. Yeah, Buster only, maybe.
Yeah, I do like how in 9
like
though.
Mega Man should be played that way though.
I feel like Mega Man should fucking balance the weapons. How about that? Fucking Mega Man 9 balances them okay.
You know what's funny is I shit talk Mega Man's weapon system in the Shmup documentary so much.
Oh Jesus, okay. Oh, fair enough. It's just kind of stupid. I don't like it.
Yeah, I bring it up how
it could be cool.
Destroys the boss fights because you just can skip them with the weapon weaknesses, basically. Yeah. And how if it had a scoring system,
True champs
create a counter incentive.
True champs play Mega Man Battle Network. Can you skip?
Oh yeah, baby! I definitely agree. I love Battle Network.
I gotta play it. Because it looks fun.
Awesome.
It looks fun.
Yeah, I loved Battle Network. I thought that game was so underrated when it came out. I played it out. My friends had Game Boy Advances. Like, oh, you got to get Battle Network. And it's like that's the shit. And they even kind of tried to do like a Pokemon thing with it a bit, where there's like Battle Network White and Battle Network whatever. It's a cool game.
Yeah,
it's
an action.
I don't
RPG.
know how much it holds up. But it's
apparently pretty good because it's got like a big cult following and there's indie games.
But is that just the hipster factor?
No, I think it is genuinely because I've seen some videos and shit and it has like not only is it unique but apparently it gets pretty challenging and it's just like just a fun kind of gameplay.
I never beat it, so I never beat it fully.
Yeah,
so
kicked your fucking ass.
Yeah,
impressive.
It's tough.
Okay.
Or, simply put, the points don't matter.
You guys want to fight?
And kudos to Capcom for recognizing
what a
this and
take,
ditching
dude.
the score system by the very next game. It was a mechanic that nobody
what a hot take. The points in Mega Man don't matter. Wow.
really miss.
He's
Plus, it
gonna
would be
twist it. There's coming a twist. Just watch.
I'm afraid not, Mark. Let's see.
kind of a drag every time you beat a Robot Master and you had to sit through the little score tally. Only very recently have I actually begun to consider this mechanic at all. I feel like in my more recent years I've developed a compulsion to thoroughly research and dissect the games I love the most, and Mega Man is my favorite video game franchise of all time.
Okay,
so...
the music is overlapping. Let me fucking mute the Melty Blood music.
Yeah, Melty's going a little too hard.
But
Notice
yeah,
she's
sure,
not getting
let's
any points off of killing the little...
There's the scores.
Oh yeah, respawning enemies. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be learning. We're gonna be learning. So they've thought about some things and then just completely fucking other things.
Who knows? This could be like one of the best scoring systems ever. You don't know.
Okay, well, let's learn about it. You only play 25% of Mega Man 1.
Yeah, you filthy casuals.
I don't think it's that kind of video, but let's see.
Franchise of all time, so yeah, sure.
Oh, you do get them.
No, you don't.
Look.
That was just a cut, wasn't it?
No. Look.
Watch when he actually kills it, because I think it was just a cut. Oh my god, what is happening with your buffering?
I don't know. It's always
Latvia is Latvia under attack right now?
Look, Lemon hits the dude. Yeah, Russia's invading.
No. Oh no.
It's so fucking over. Mega Man Bros, it's so fucking over.
It's over.
This game will never compete with Daiojo.
It's just become Metal Slug
It's
now.
beyond over. It's worse because there's no timer. There's literally no timer.
Oh my god.
It's fucking Dragon
now it's
Quest.
Batman Returns.
It's Dragon Quest, dude.
Now.
Yeah, and that is Dragon
In
Quest.
Batman Returns,
Yeah,
you
sure.
can just go to the second stage, turn around, and hold down the Y button, and have infinitely respawning enemies.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Fantastic.
my God.
Sure, let's analyze the score system in
Put
Mega
something
Man
on
1.
top of your controller, and you'll...
It doesn't have
Really count.
1/4, so it's better than Daiojo. Guess who fucking said that, Mark?
I don't even... We don't need even to dignify that. Let's not even dignify that with a response.
Guess whose fucking hands typed that fucking evil shit in chat?
Okay, let's start with the basic stuff. Every time you kill an enemy, you get a set amount of points. Different enemies are worth different amounts, so you can check the enclosed instructions book for details. Pretty standard stuff, but also, sometimes enemies drop these. This is called a score ball.
Score
They
ball.
only show
Yeah,
up
I
in
remember
Mega Man
these.
1.
I remember these.
Score ball, yeah.
Side note, I always hated score balls because whenever I made it to the boss hallway as a kid, I would run back and forth trying to grind health drops from enemies, which would take forever because whenever an enemy
Jesus
dropped
Christ.
an item, it was most likely one of these worthless little gumballs.
Fucking nostalgia critic. How OG is this guy? Holy fuck.
This guy's OG.
He's like 60 years old, probably.
So there's an example of the score system being an active detriment.
This is what happens
Anyways,
when
collecting
people in retirement homes make YouTube videos.
Yeah. He finally got enough money to retire. He's like, oh, it's time for my hobby. His kids have
But
moved.
do you notice he was like infinitely milking the score balls there?
Yeah, of course, yeah. But he was trying
boy.
to milk. Yeah, he's like, his kids moved out. He's in the
Mega
fucking...
Man, what has happened?
Here comes the score ball sucking. Yeah.
score ball doesn't actually add any score. Instead, your score balls are tallied after beating the boss, where they
Oh.
are then multiplied
Oh, that sucks. That sucks. That is garbage. What the fuck?
by 1,000 per, and then added to your score. The number of score balls you can cash in caps at 99, so collecting 100 or more would be a tremendous waste of time. In more ways than
Yeah,
one.
but you
At
can
first I thought
infinitely
that
milk enemies.
Yeah, it literally does not matter. Like, this is
doesn't matter.
Nothing matters anymore. It's over. It's fucking over. Let it go. Let go of the
if
controller.
for whatever reason, you wanted to get a high score, then you could just grind enemies like
Oh.
the Pepe.
There you go. See, he knows. He did it. He figured it out.
Yeah.
But at that point, you might as well just tape down the button and ignore item drops completely because
Exactly.
the Pepes themselves give you points too. I mean, it's not like there's a time
The
limit,
Pepe.
so you could just leave the game on all night and boom,
See,
max points.
he knows.
Yeah.
Except
He figured it
haha,
out.
Once you hit 10 million points, the counter loops back around. You idiot.
Yes, okay, score rollover.
The meta. How close can you get to the counter stuff before it fucking rolls over?
That's what I did. That's what I did.
What,
in,
you did-
what's that game?
Alest, right?
No, in that one game.
Alest.
Musha.
Musha Alest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just how close can you
It's
get before
so
it rolls
fucking
over,
stupid, dude. It's just unbelievable. All right.
You spent half a day grinding for points for Mega Man for a YouTube video. You should think twice before being born stupid. This brings me to my next point, which is that usually in other older video games from around the same time, doing something like this would at least get you more lives. This is usually the one and only benefit to interacting with the score system. You know, when you play Sonic and you beat a special stage and the tiny Sonic shows up and it's all like doodle-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. But score never gives you any one-ups in Mega Man 1, and you already have infinite continues. Also, side note, while I was grinding to see if there was a maximum score, I noticed that the lives counter had gone above 9. Normally lives cap at 9, so I figured I would grind to max lives to see how far the rabbit hole goes. I mean, if I didn't do it now, I'd risk being curious about it later and wasting my time again, so I figured I should do it now. Unsurprisingly, it caps at 99. I also checked to see if this loops around
Jesus fucking Christ, that is insane. What the fuck? Okay.
too, but no, it just...
Because he had to pick them up, right? So you can't like just. It's not extends. You had to literally just pick them up every single one. Oh my god.
He deserves some credit for that.
Yeah, props. Not many video essays put that much work into this kind of shit.
Yeah, this guy's putting more work in. He's on point so far.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, it's like
he figured out the infinite milk, so he did that.
Yeah,
He's
so
on point.
the gears are turning. I don't know what the fuck the point is if he's not gonna move past the scoring system. If well, maybe he will. Let's see.
What if he's like, there's no online leaderboards?
Yeah, he's like, there's no
What if he-
online leaderboards, and he's like, well, now let's talk about Ketsui or Donpachi. It's like, oh shit. All right.
99. I tried dying after that, which brings the counter down to 98, so it's not like certain other games where it secretly keeps track after 99. It really does cap.
Yeah.
Anyways, what was I saying?
Yeah.
I suppose I should also mention that continuing from a game over will set your precious score back to 0, but
He can do the legendary.
Fox Kids.
He can do the legendary Mega Man 1 CC now with the 99 life. Damn, that's gonna.
Yeah. Oh my god, you could get a world record in Mega Man 1 if you get like, almost to the counter stop, and then you get to the end of the game, and then you get right to 99999.
Yeah,
And beat the game,
yeah, basically. Jesus.
kids.
your precious score
Should I
back
go
to
for
0.
it?
But I think that's the last thing a player's going to be worrying about after losing a bunch of progress. That's another thing. I can kind of get comparing your score to other players to prove that you're some kind of better gamer. But unless you're training for the Nintendo...
Better gamer in quotes? Are you fucking... You're superior.
What?
If you have the bigger digits, you have the bigger dick.
It's all about the digits, boys and girls.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all
you have
about
the
digits.
you have the biggest dick, you have the baddest bitch. You're ruling the street.
First you get the points. Well, you know that Scarface speech? It's like, first you get the points.
There you go, exactly.
Then you get the respect. And then you get the women.
Exactly, fucking spot on. Fucking quotes. Get that shit out of here. Well, he's learning. Maybe we can fix him.
Yeah.
We can fix him.
Maybe he has a... Yeah, let's see what happens.
He doesn't realize how much fucking cred he gets for big puntos.
World Championship or something, 99% of players are going to compare how far they make it into the game, not
99%. Yeah, you can be part of the fucking unwashed masses, or you can be the elite.
The elite.
The
1%.
elite. The fucking elite. The puntos.
the high score. No one's going to be like, oh, you...
that hang out in the bog.
Yeah,
and have
in the bog.
Just have Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, it's like fucking score play American Psycho.
Yeah.
And just look at that wonderful dodge. Oh.
The finish of
Beat
the
all.
dodge, yes.
Yeah. Oh, look at that bullet cancel. The tasteful thickness of it. Oh my god.
6 bosses and the
Keep
yellow
it, continue.
the devil. Well, too bad for you, because my number's bigger. It's also really strange that the game doesn't even have a scoreboard. Like, having a score system kind of implies
Exactly.
a scoreboard.
Oh my fucking god! This is your guy. This is like your guy,
Yeah, he's
but
getting there. No
it's just-
scoreboard.
it's just
He's about to say there's no online leaderboard. That's
It's-
his next point.
Yeah, it's just that he needs on the NES. Yeah, just hook that shit up to the what was it called? The NES online thing.
Yeah, whatever that was.
That was what the fuck was? It? Yeah, that was like a Famicom thing. Jesus, the tasteful thickness
Famicom
of
Online.
the.
You could buy ROMs on it. You could fucking put a leaderboard on there, bitch.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, like retro achievements with leaderboards, Mega Man scoring.
Right? And like a little screen for putting in your initials so you can bring your friends over and brag to them. But no, Mega Man 1 doesn't even save your score, which means there's no high score either. There's only
Garbo.
just the score. If you wanted to show your friends your super impressive Mega Man score, they'd either have to be in the room with you or you'd have to take a picture of it or something.
Well, but see, that's the Chad way. You know, you fucking invite a girl over. Hey, babe, you want to see my
Yes.
Mega Man score? You're like, oh my
Yeah.
god, you gotta.
And then you
gotta-
proceed to milk penguins for 2 hours.
Hey babe, hey babe, check out this tech. All right.
Okay, how
But
about
if you,
this?
and then you die, reset your score.
Yeah, babe.
Sorry, babe, we gotta do this in another 2 hours.
Oh, babe, my bad. I was nervous, you know. This is my first time showing up.
This has never happened before, babe.
Exactly. Yeah.
I swear.
If she can stand the milking, she's the one. Yeah. If she leaves the, that's how Toa Plan fans get their wives. You know, they put them through the 7 loops of fucking bullshit.
Say you and your friend are competing to see who's better at Mega Man 1. Okay, now stop laughing. Just entertain the hypothetical for a second. Say you...
What the fuck do you mean laughing?
Laughing. We're not laughing. He's just not used to being understood. That's
Well,
all.
he's trying to mask it, so you know,
Yes.
he's hiding his true feelings behind sarcasm. This is clearly
Yes.
the better. This is clearly the better
This is
man.
Obvious suppression. Yes.
On the right, just dominating. Jeez, weak performance. Get the pathetic. Get him out of here.
and your friend both beat the game. Hypothetically, whoever has the highest score would be better because that
This
means
guy
they-
can legally kill this guy. I'm thinking. Yeah.
The guy
Grab
would
the most
stab himself
scoreable.
in shame anyway.
Yeah.
and beat the
Yeah,
most
exactly. Fucking seppuku, you know, just.
Yeah.
enemies and didn't game over. Now, as hyper-specific and unrealistic as this scenario may be, surely this adds some kind of purpose to the score system, right? I mean, if the answer was yes, then this would make for a really weird end to the video, so of course the answer is no. 2 players could play nigh identically, and their scores would still be wildly different. Why? Because the amount of
Right.
points you get for defeating bosses
We'll just get good at luck. Easy. Yeah.
is literally decided at random. When you select a boss and it shows you how many
Oh
points you
my
get for clearing the
God.
level,
What the fuck? That is
I always
crazy.
thought that the number was like
It doesn't really
dramatically-
matter because you can infinitely milk anyway.
Yeah,
That
but
is-
still, if you couldn't, how did they fuck this
ridiculous.
up so badly? What the fuck?
What if
counting
What if Mega Man 1, like Capcom are just trolling completely?
Probably. Well, I think what it is like it's like a transition from scoring as like a competitive skill ceiling to a nudge. Here, it's just like a shininess to a coin. You know, it's like you do something and it's like, oh, big number, good. So it's like this is an RPG. This is like this is Vampire Survivors. This is how it started, actually.
Yes.
Yep.
Someone
Someone was asking.
the lineage back to make
Someone was asking. Someone's saying like shmups will evolve into Euro shmups. There's nowhere left to go. Vampire Survivors has fucking nailed that shit.
Yeah, Vampire Survivors is the Euro shmup.
Oh yeah, yeah. That like you can't. Well, okay, maybe you're wrong and you can, but like it's gonna take a lot.
Up to the final number. Obviously, if you look closely, the numbers aren't counting up, but I just thought the game was trying to be suspenseful. I didn't know the number was literally choosing at random how much score to give you right then and there.
I mean,
if you're playing on the Legacy Collection, which has a built-in rewind feature, you can just keep re-rolling the score.
I'm getting a fucking evil idea right now.
What?
At the end of my game, at the end of a level, you play slot machines for a little bit of point. For a bonus.
Why?
I don't know. I just really like annoying Bammed in particular. If he ever plays it, you know, he's just gonna, what the fuck is this?
Score until you get the highest possible.
I like the idea of like a score play because you know, imagine if the game is fun other than that. So and they have to deal with that shit. That makes that fascinates me. You know, it's like players who fucking get mad and want to fucking destroy their monitor, but then pick up the controller like, and they keep fucking playing. That is like so fucking funny to me to watch. Like Anthopan Streets Rage 4 runs. God, man.
Payout if you wanted. Though again, why would you want that? Anyways, the score is randomly selected to be worth anything from 50,000 points to 100,000 points.
Someone erases Bog before he does this. Yeah, you better kill me
6 possible
before it's too late. And you better hope, you better pray that my game isn't fun. You know.
Combinations, by the way. They really could have just made the first boss you defeat be worth 50,000, the next worth 60,000, and so on until the last boss, which would be worth 100,000. Or, you know, they could have just not had the system at all. And lastly, Dr. Wily is...
Whoa, what the fuck? You were...
Whoa.
Come on.
Whoa. Foul play.
It's always worth 200,000 points. On top of that, the castle bosses each give you 100,000 points, except CWU01P, who only gives you 70,000 for some reason. Maybe it's because Wily 3 is such a short level. Oh, in the rematch, Robot Masters give you 10,000 each. Although Capcom seems to have forgotten this entirely when including the game in Mega Man The Wily Wars for the Genesis. Bad port, 0 out of 10. Also, the final level is the only place in the entire game where you can find the Yashichi, which instantly refills all your health and all your ammo for every weapon. It's conveniently placed right before the teleporter before you do the final boss.
I love that shit. The Yashichi, you know, the fucking Capcom logo type of thing that they include in so many games. I fucking love that. Always
branding.
Get the one.
You love branding.
Yeah, get 10,000 bog coins. I literally should have like bog coins or like pick.
Yes,
like
you really should.
Like
so funny.
Yeah, Batsugan pigs or some shit like that. You know. You could have picked them up. I love that shit. I don't even know why. Like I can't explain. It's just cool to me.
The only reason I bring this up,
it's branding.
It's are tired of being visible as a
it's
developer.
Not merely branding. It's not merely branding. It's a legacy. It's a bloodline. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, is because the Yashichi also gives you 100,000 points. Or so the manual claims. Before researching this, I honestly, truly couldn't have cared less about the points. But now that I know I've been promised 100,000 points and the game doesn't deliver, I'm pretty mad. How dare you, North American Instruction Manual for Mega Man on the NES. I could forgive you calling Dr. Light Dr. Right, or saying that Mets appear...
This video would be good if he didn't think scoring was cringe. It's so fucking weird, like... Well, I mean, he's playing these games. He's playing Mega Man. He doesn't know what scoring means. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
On Guts Man, or even that you claim that there's a crouch button. But this is just too far. So you defeat Dr. Wily and redeem a clean 200k. You get a nice ending text, and Mega Man takes off his armor and runs home to Dr. Light and unnamed girl character. There's no thank you for playing, and they don't celebrate your final score. And do you want to know why? It's because after beating Mega Man 1, the game spits you back to the level select. There's nothing final about your score, because you can just keep doing the Wily Castle or any other level.
That is incredible.
If you look at it this way, the game never ends. It just goes forever and ever. Everlasting peace will forever
Infinite
remain.
loops.
Just
Yeah. Damn, it fucking commits every single mistake a score. Every single. How the fuck? What the
What
fuck?
if this is wait? What if this is Capcom's like secret, like manifesto on like how to fuck up a scoring
It
system?
might be, yeah. I mean, basically is, yeah. This is like, if you wanted to fuck up a scoring system, this is how you do it. Because you would think like, oh, at least it doesn't have infinite loops. Wrong. Fucking. What the fuck?
Infinite loops, infinite milks,
Counter stop.
randomly score generated bonuses.
Yeah, counter stop rollover.
Counter stop rollover. No leaderboard.
Yeah, nothing.
No, nothing.
Yeah. How? Like, how else would you fuck it up? How?
I don't know.
I'm thinking, how the fuck?
It's amazing.
Maybe make
It's
the
beautiful.
drops more fucking rare or some shit. I don't know. But that's just like intensify. That's like a difference of quantity, not quality. You know? Like
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that's incredible.
All right, let's crunch some numbers. Let's say you wanted to keep playing the Wily Castle until you max out the score counter, which is 1 point shy of 10 million. I wouldn't recommend doing this because getting a game over would completely reset your score, and there's only 2 extra lives in the entire castle, not counting enemy drops. But let's pretend that you're good at video games. Let's pretend all 6 Robomasters gave us the
Don't
lowest
need to
possible
pretend,
payout
dude.
of 50,000 points, and we ignored all other enemies somehow. This gives us a score of 300,000 by the time Wily Castle is first unlocked. Yellow Devil and Copy Robot both give us 100,000 points, CWU01P gives you 70,000, and all 6 refights give you 10,000 each. All of those added together, plus the 200,000 points earned from Wily, totals out to 530,000 points per run-through of the Wily Castle, not counting score receipt from enemies or score balls. 10 million minus 300,000 divided by 530,000 comes out to about 18.3, rounding up meaning you'd have to run through Wily Castle 19 times, or just 18 times in that remaining
Oh shit, that's the length of the average Soapline game.
3 will be naturally
There you go.
obtained from enemies. Beating Wily Castle casually took me about 20 minutes. 20 times 18 is 360 minutes. Add that to the roughly 30 minutes it takes to beat the 6 Robomasters, and our final total for the Mega Man 1 maximum score run is 6.5 hours. And by the time you achieve maximum score, the
That's
score counter will
nothing.
That's that really. Jesus, yeah, that Toaplan fucking dads spitted this. They're like, huh, pathetic. Still shorter than Same counter stop. Yeah, this is nothing, dude. 6 hours. Come on.
just reset, so it'll look like nothing happened. It'll look
How
like
about Gradius 5 multi-looping? Jesus Christ.
you just booted up the game. I implore you to spend your time doing
Does
it.
Gradius 5 have a counter stop?
I don't know.
Well, no one will reach it, I guess. But let's see. There's no way anyone fucking reached it, right?
So his conclusion was the scoring system sucks.
Shocking. Yeah,
But he outlined all the good reasons why.
yeah. There's like
I
a
mean,
good
he covered everything.
Yeah, this is like a good exploration, even though like the thesis is kind of not interesting, but like as an exploration, it's pretty fun. I enjoyed this video.
I liked it. Yeah, this has been one of my more
like
favorite
nothing
ones we've
happened.
covered.
It'll look like you just booted up the game. I
And also
implore
the
you
fact
to
it's
spend-
from 2009. I appreciate that as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no one was doing this back in the day, OG.
Trailblazer.
And that's why Mega Man Zero went with a ranking system instead of a scoring system. I mean, but then it's just you know.
Ranking systems aren't as cool as scoring systems.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, yeah.
I'm like half tempted to counter stop Mega Man 1 now.
All right.
Just by
Yeah,
going
just
to
another fucking
just
world.
go to this. Just go to that one stage and just tape down my controller.
Another world record on your belt. Another one.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so it's like if there's a counter stop, does everyone get the world record?
Well, you have to bother to do it.
Yeah, but that like is everyone number one that has a counter stop, or do you factor in other stuff at that point?
Oh well, it's who does it the coolest. Obviously.
Oh, of course. Well, then it's basically a ranking system, right?
Yeah, but
Everyone gets an
if
S
I'm
rank.
the only one to have it, then I win.
True. Okay. Yeah. Real
your time doing anything else. I mean, to get all this
ranks are much less granular. They're not just much less granular. They're also just like not. They're hard capped at a very low. Oh,
They're
dude,
very capped.
there's a guy on there was, I don't know, someone on the fucking character action server.
You should just do both, though. That's the thing. Do both. Give ranks and then have like real score
Yeah.
too.
Well, I feel like having ranks kind of invalidates. But there's a person on the character action server who's playing a Karuga, and they're fucking shocked how insane the rankings are. Because that like an S plus plus means an actual like you have to be fucking good at a Karuga to earn that shit. And that's kind of funny to me because like people are so used to getting freebie S ranks.
Yeah,
When they play
yeah.
Karuga, they're like, what the fuck?
What happened?
Yeah, what? How? My S. I didn't take damage. Why don't I have an S?
Yeah.
It's like
This footage I just grinded on emulator at like triple speed, and I still feel like my time was wasted. So, what have we learned?
Should we learn?
yeah, I mean, we do learn a fair bit. He could have. What's the point? There could be a good point.
He was just saying how shitty the scoring system is.
Yeah, it just broke down. Fucking, he murdered Megman. It's over. The blue bomber is fucking dead.
Dead. Invalidated.
God of War Ragnarok Valhalla has a scoring system. What the fuck? Mark? Does it have leaderboards? Madruga man.
It's gotta have leaderboards.
If it has leaderboards, I'm afraid you'll have to play it, Mark.
God of War?
Ragnarok with Valhalla mode, which is like an arcadey mode, a roguelike mode.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
It's what do you mean? It's a beat 'em up survival mode with the scoring system.
I don't like God of War.
Okay, well, but beat 'em up combat, dude.
I played Streets of Rage 2 Yakuza thing for 3 hours straight,
Fantastic.
but I will not play God of War.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to.
Maybe someday for a video or something.
I'm gonna have to take a proper break in 15 minutes to make sure that the video is clippable. Let me finish the God of War thing. Let's speed run through the shit.
Okay, then I'm gonna go.
Since you are
to sleep.
reducing the amount that
Yeah, do it.
you can see of your surroundings. On the other hand, moving backwards is
I'll
naturally
see what
advantageous
happens
as
here.
it allows you to see more. And it's one of the reasons why players are naturally drawn to kiting or defensive gameplay patterns with this close camera. We have to be careful with how we balance forward movement of Kratos' attacks, which really help them deliver their power and satisfaction, with the disadvantageous state that they often put the player in.
No! Wait.
And I meant it. It was a directive from the
They
top
cut
of the
his
game
mic.
completely-
No. Fucked it up. One sec. Where is it? Yes, this is the one. I think this is where it stopped.
On the other hand, moving backwards is naturally advantageous, as it allows you to see more. And it's one of the reasons why players are naturally drawn to kiting or defensive gameplay patterns with this close camera. We have to be careful with how we balance forward movement of Kratos' attacks, which really help them deliver their power and satisfaction, with the disadvantageous state that they often put the player in. Because of this, we had to revisit how we author.
So what is the point of playing aggressively in God of War? Is what I
don't know.
don't understand from this
I don't
GDC.
think we'll ever know. I don't think we'll ever know.
How? Yeah, like what is the benefit? How do they? Okay, we'll see. Let's see.
In many of our animations.
Because he's saying like, okay, this easy. Well, why isn't it? Why wouldn't it be easy to still just kind of hang back? Because it's cool.
We reduced the translation
Probably.
of basic enemy hit reactions substantially from how they were made in the past, and even reduced the translation of some of Kratos' attacks. But this actually worked out pretty well, since Stuck to Target could still allow him to reach enemies with his attacks, and it also provided enough movement to give
Stop
us the
saying
boost we
suck
needed.
the target, please.
No, keep saying suck the target. I'm borrowing that term. I'm never saying magnetism again. Fucking
Yeah.
dude, I cannot wait to because I'm kind of tempted to do a video on like interpolation and like suck the target mechanics. So if I fucking start using that, that's gonna be incredible.
Oh my
But he wouldn't go
god.
zoom.
That video is going to get 1 million views and I'm going to be so jealous because you're calling it suck the target.
Exactly.
In an empty room anymore.
1 million views. Easy.
Yeah, I'm gonna become the suck to target guy instead of this guy. He should have published a YouTube video. Well, not, not.
Playing around with all this took a lot of trial and error, and having the functionality in our design scripts to procedurally scale the translation of animations was incredibly helpful for testing outcomes
What
with
the
fast iteration
hell
speed.
is he talking about?
Reduced translation. Why the fuck? Yeah, exactly. Why is it so technical? Okay, reduced translation enemy basic hit reactions. Animation translation. Reduced translation of Kratos attacks. It's like the target. Added the oomph we needed. Procedural translation. What the? Okay, I don't know what he's saying. This is probably like one of those.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm a game dev. I don't know. I guess it's like one of those more technical, specialized topics among animators and technical fucking artists or whatever. Wait, music. Need music. Need Melty Blood back.
The blood.
Blood.
This video shows the problem of highly translating reactions, causing enemies to go off screen. The reactions themselves are fun and satisfying,
What the
but it's
fuck?
extremely frustrating to not be able to follow up on your target. With the
What is translatable?
added insult of having your target switched involuntarily back to another on-screen enemy. And even worse, the enemy
Well,
that you
then
just beat
stop
up
having sucked the target, and that won't happen.
Yeah.
is sure to return as an off-screen threat in a few seconds. Like, let me make this clear. We were punishing you for attacking with your combos and causing fun enemy hit reactions. And that's the exact opposite of what our combat should be about.
What the
What
fuck?
is he talking
Time to talk about one of my favorite features that we
He's saying, okay, so yeah, so he's saying like the fact that enemies get, because you know, if you have like, for example, let's say an AOE attack that knocks enemies around in this kind of camera system, when you do the AOE attack, the enemies kind of get scattered, and as a result, they're kind of harder to keep track of with the camera. So he's like, essentially, you're punished for using these big attacks that, you know, knock enemies down.
So he's not familiar with the idea of like knockdowns and like standing damage.
Yeah, and
So
that,
like in Devil May Cry 3, you've got swing, swing, 1-2, which keeps them standing, or you can go 1-2-3, and the third hit knocks down.
yeah, the whole point of
So
knockback.
what you do is you go 1-2 Royal Guard, 1-2 Royal Guard, 1-2 Royal Guard for standing damage, and then if you want the knockdown, 1-2-3.
Yeah. I mean, the point of knockback is that it's a trade-off. You either knock back or you keep them fucking stunned.
Yeah.
Literally, if you, I don't know.
I'll strike assist.
Well,
It's
let's
like-
see what happens.
Well, you know, now after the AOE, you'll suck the target, of course.
You think so?
No, I think what he'll talk about is how he made them more juggleable and, you know, emphasize juggles, because that keeps them in the same position, more or less. Because God of War does not really have an air state. The enemy, you can launch enemies, but they kind of hover in your general, like you can reach them with your attacks. So I think that's what's going to happen. Let's see.
And how it helps solve this problem. In a stroke of pure brilliance. Our then lead gameplay designer
Stroke of
asked the profound
pure
question.
brilliance.
Oh shit! Oh wait. So it's going to be like the direction you attack, like it pushes the enemies into the direction you attack them in. Wait, did they not have? Okay.
What if we just kept enemies that were hit on screen?
What?
Seriously, check out Jason's Taking an Axe to God of War gameplay talk
Oh god.
when it comes online.
I'm scared.
There's even an
Mark.
OG God of War trophy named after him, right? Anyway, after a bit of back and forth, G and his programming team came up with something really cool. And it looks something like this. With strike assist,
No!
bear with me for a second. Attacks cause their victim to
Wait.
snap
Wait. This might be. Hold on. This might be cooking.
to an initial orientation at the
Hold on. I got to figure out complex feelings.
beginning of their hit
I
reaction.
don't even know what's
So-
happening.
What's happening is when an enemy is hit, the corner of the camera pushes them towards the camera, so they will never go off screen when you hit them. This might be cooking, Mark.
Okay.
I'm afraid this might be cooking.
Okay, let's see what happens.
This might be fucking cooking.
Their adjusted trajectory will
Look.
now go towards a blend between the camera's facing vector and their original trajectory. And if all that was too confusing, all that means is that enemies are now
Wait, why a blend?
pulled onto the screen.
Oh, you have to do it a blend because it sucks. Because of the fucking suck the target. So now you, okay, think about this, right? If it didn't suck, then you could have full control over where you swing your sword and where you launch the enemy with the final attack. Because you could the final attack, you could press the diagonal, rotate the analog stick into a direction you want, and you would send them flying to that direction. But like this, what ends up happening is because of the suck and because of how Kratos targets enemies on his own. As a result, you don't have direct control of it, and they have to find like a middle ground of where the attack hit versus where Kratos was sucking towards. You know?
Oh boy.
Yep.
If they were going to go off of it, the larger the delta.
So damn, that's a fucking. It's like a cool mechanic. It's like a. I thought that it was a cool mechanic because it's like the equivalent of 2D beat 'em up mechanics for for example, with Hagar, you jump backwards, you do the body splash, and because you're looking forward, that launches the enemy forward, right? So the same happens if you're standing right on top of the enemy sprite. They will get launched into the direction you're looking at instead of the direction where they get a hit from. And that's like the 3D equivalent of that, which is really interesting to me because it makes it more crowd controlling. But then the
I'm
suck,
trying to see how this is different than just hitting the enemy normally.
because if you hit the enemy normally and your character, for example, moves forward, then Okay, let's say they have. Okay, let me wait. Will you be able to see it? Let me.
I'm watching your stream.
Line MS Paint, something equivalent. Let me. Oh, you see it?
Yeah, I see.
Okay, good. So let's say you're attacking, right? Let's say this is your character. This. Let me pick a different color. You're attacking this enemy, but there's also this enemy. So if you this is going to be the attack color. You do a swing, right? It hits this enemy and this enemy. You're locked onto this enemy. So usually what will happen is this enemy will kind of get knocked back into this direction because that's where the swing is headed from, right? Instead of but because of how it works, it gets knocked into this direction together with this enemy. So what happens is you can group enemies with your final knockdown attack instead of scattering them. Jesus, mouse fucking drawing is abominable. Oh my god. Do you get it?
I get it. I'm trying to decide how I feel about it.
I think it's cool. Because remember what Krigor talked about, where it's harder to predict the direction enemies are headed in 3D.
Right.
Yeah, so I think this kind of mechanic actually does make it more interesting, where you can control where the enemies fall down. Because there's still other elements. Like it's not going to get too easy because the enemies can't clip into each other, for example. Right?
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a good mechanic. I think it's a really good one.
Yeah, it's hard to really theory fighter how it would work exactly.
Yeah, partly because there's not enough 3D beat 'em ups that really good ones, basically. Yeah. I do think I like it, yeah.
Part of the correction. Each attack can specify its own blend. So some attacks can say, make the enemy go right to the center of the camera, or just pull it close enough so that it stays on screen. Naturally, the farther the translation of the reaction, the more you'd see the effects of this. There's a lot of complexity to this feature and how it was used, but that's kind of the basic overview. With Strike Assist, enemies stopped being hit off screen. Successive attacks in a combo on the same target would pull it more and more into the center of the camera. And since, if you remember, Kratos rotates to face his target when he attacks, this eventually led to both Kratos and his target translating back down the camera's direction.
So he sucks them into him.
Yeah, he sucks them into him.
Happening.
Yeah, yeah, but that's the good kind of sucking, you know? You want it to suck them into you. The two-way sucking. But yeah, it is kind of...
Yeah, they suck you into them, and then you suck them into you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, the double-sided... the single-sided suck is good. Double-sided suck, I don't know. Not a big fan of that. But yeah, if it worked like in Final Fight Streetwise, where you had full manual control over where you're attacking, then I think it would be a cool dynamic. Because like now suddenly group attacks actually do feel really good.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
As a bonus, this made switching between melee attacks and range targeting easier, as zoom snapping worked better if the enemy was already near the reticle, which is of course at the center of the screen. This feature led to a bunch of other new discoveries as well. See, players have control of the camera, so they could use this to aim where they wanted their enemies.
See, this is what I mean.
To be clear,
so
this
you
was
can group
huge.
people up
Building
that
up,
way.
Yeah, you can group them up, and you can do that God hand thing where you actually launch them into each other.
combat systems which this new camera had led to a new type of moment-to-moment gameplay, an expression of player intent and skill. For example, strategies such as intentionally hurting enemies together before pulling off a massive runic slam attack, or moving the camera to direct an enemy to fly off
See, like this is
side of
cool.
a cliff with the last hit of your combo were now possible. And it was so intuitive through just looking at what you wanted to do that most players had no idea that this was even happening at all.
See, this you just copy beat 'em ups in every fucking way you can. There you go.
Yeah, that is pretty clever.
Yeah, it is. It is good.
Strike Assist may have possibly been the most important aspect in making the new combat system come together, and it was a huge victory for the team. Apart from Strike Assist, we used a few other tricks to help players engage their enemies by allowing them to keep up the offense while enemies were already playing hit reactions. Many of the hit reactions themselves would fire invisible collisions, allowing enemies to bump into each other.
Hey, Boghog, I finally found the hidden chest you were talking about. Now actually deal damage. Still hard to beat the B word because I'm forced to do the claw controller technique. Godspeed, Sora. He's playing Ys Filgana and getting his ass kicked.
Oh.
And even hit enemies to their sides, despite there sometimes being no visual contact. This rewarded players by helping them stay safe, since enemies who were bumped were sure not to attack until after they had recovered. Another
What are we reacting to? Is it shit? No, it's good. It's interesting.
trick was disrupting enemy aggression. The closed camera naturally makes Kratos and his target take up a large part of the screen real estate and obstruct the player's vision. We realized that we would have to incentivize offensive gameplay even more if we wanted players to feel confident despite being able to see less. Remember the aggression system, the topic I covered earlier about how we choose which enemies are active threats? We made some simple tweaks to it to handle this. If an attacking aggressive enemy gets interrupted and plays a hit reaction, it retains its aggressive tokens temporarily instead of relinquishing them immediately for others to use.
Huh?
For a short period of time, that enemy would block other non-aggressive enemies from taking.
Okay, so there's a token system like in Fight and Rage, right?
There's like Fight and Rage, yeah.
Yeah, but the enemy is still like when you're comboing an enemy, the other enemies can't go aggro mode for a little bit. It like blocks the token.
These tokens, but couldn't do an attack itself since it was already in a hit reaction. That effectively gave the player a power play every time they were being offensive. If they extended their offense for too long without worrying about other threats, they could be punished. Before a window of time, they'd have the advantage. In most scenarios on our normal difficulty, say against a pack of Jogger, only 2 enemies would be allowed to be aggressive at any one time. This meant
Why? I guess it's because of the slow attacks, right? Because of like your jab equivalents are very slow, so enemies can sneak in attacks in between them.
Yeah.
Will create the problem. See, but the Street Rage 2 and Final Fight solved that by having really good grab games, so it doesn't like you don't rely on your basic attacks as much. And that's a better solution than limiting this game. Well, I don't know, maybe.
They just had to worry about one other enemy apart from the one Kratos was already engaged with, which isn't all that bad to keep track of. Enemy air
But
reactions.
otherwise, yeah, if they can attack in between your hits and just like jump in and get like little chip damage shit, and then what you end up doing is kind of like doing an attack, backing away, doing an attack, backing away, doing an attack, backing away.
You know what's funny is a counterexample of this is Dante Must Die in Devil May Cry 3 because they don't have this token system. They will just all attack you at different times and so I developed strategies that I think are kind of interesting around that. Like what I'll do is I'll use this the sword and do 1-2-1-2 Royal Guard, the standing version, and you can actually like literally push the characters around as you're doing that. So I will like push the guy I'm attacking around.
That's why
people attacking.
That's why Agnir and Rudra are good because you can literally push enemies aside. Fucking. Also, but isn't this another vid in God of War? Yeah, this one I think is more interesting overall. But this is a different one, yeah.
Specifically, would prolong this effect for more time, giving you yet another bonus to keep your combos going, despite the threats around you. Speaking of, at first, we didn't have enemies getting launched or juggled in the air due to the new grounded tone. However, juggling enemies is part of the playing with your food identity we needed to retain, so we had to solve juggling for our new combat system in close camera. The largest issue is that enemies could now be constantly hit upwards until they are above the camera and you can't see them anymore. Not to mention, the Leviathan Axe had limited melee attack range, and since we removed the jump button from this entry in the series, there would be no way for players to stay engaged on a target like that. To make matters worse,
but you have a lock on.
Juggled enemies took up a lot of real estate on the screen and included nearby threats, so players rarely felt safe while attacking them.
I don't know if I feel comfortable with this game having like a little kid be your sidekick fighting enemies. It's a little weird to me, to be honest.
In terms of why you think the monsters will punch him out? That is funny.
I don't know. It just feels weird. It just feels weird to me. I don't know.
It's like a fly buzzing around, really.
It's just like awkward. That's all.
Right.
It's just awkward as fuck.
Well, how about the kid in Spike Out?
What? I don't know. There's a kid in Spike Out.
Yeah, if you pick one of the dudes, he has like his kid next to him. The kid like runs around and does like it mimics your movement, like get him, dad, or whatever.
Oh my god,
it's kind of
cute.
I
don't know. It's weird.
It is kind of cute.
Weird.
Well, I think Spike Out. It fits Spike Out because like the tone is more goofy,
yeah,
right?
cartoony.
Yeah,
and
it's kind of like
where this is more like serious.
Yeah, serious, dark, dramatic. Yeah, and you have a fucking kid.
It's just weird.
Hey, the kid may be annoying, but he's crazy, useful to balance it out. Yeah, but you know, just.
But the fact that it's a child, I think.
Yeah. Well, can they bong him? Can they fucking blast? Can they punch him into a fucking wall?
Yeah.
Imagine Kratos' son just getting fucking combo juggled.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just weird.
Okay, that would be funny as fuck though. That. Forget Leonard of Constance. Just give me that. Just like Kratos' son getting fucking juggled combo.
It's just weird to me. That's all.
Weird, yeah. You know they can't have the kid get hurt. That'd be peak. But no, he's immortal, of course. Well,
but it's just weird.
They can make him immortal, but have hit feedback.
Yeah.
Okay.
tackle the first problem of enemies exiting the camera frame, we implemented a float height system, which could be used to tell an enemy how high it was allowed to go relative to Kratos. If
This is why it feels like shit. This is
joint
why
of the enemy ever went higher than this.
they're so afraid to. They're so afraid of the player feeling inconvenienced anyway. They're so afraid of it. It's like
that is so fucking weird.
Yeah, they're so fucking afraid. It's just like, come
why
on.
Not, yeah, why not have it where they bounce up and you have to like catch them as they fall down?
Yeah,
Like,
and it's just
some
you know.
action velocity would be
Real
applied to keep it
juggle?
balanced. And this could be tuned per enemy hit
Instead
reaction.
of
by
putting him
design
on a
and
zip line, like he goes on a zip line.
Literally. Look, he's like floating.
He's on a zip line.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah,
We tried to make this look as natural as possible.
What the
whilst-
there is nothing natural about this, my friend. There is nothing natural about how
It's
this looks
just
like.
weird, even in terms of like juggling mechanics.
Yeah, yeah.
I know it's not about if it's realistic.
Yeah,
it's
there's
just
nothing like
odd.
this. Well,
It's just
not only is it odd, but it also removes a lot of like it removes the timing element. It removes like the pushback. You know, it's just like
Yeah.
like a lot of the elements that make juggles interesting, they give
Are
like
gone.
because it's a push and pull system with juggles, right? There's like you're fighting gravity and you're fighting the pushback, and you're trying to fucking figure that shit out. But if there,
That's
if you,
called a juggle.
yeah, I mean,
This is not juggle. This is a zip line.
yeah, this is like why not then just have a like pummel them
Standing
into
damage.
yeah into the pummel them into the ground to make them passive, and then blast them in the ground. Why not just have that at that point?
was allowed to go
Like, what's the distinction, right?
relative to Kratos.
Because you basically plant them into the ground, like you know, like in Night Slashers, Jake has that attack where he can fucking like just fucking stick an enemy into the ground and then stomp on them.
Yes,
on their head.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically this is like a reversed version of that.
If the root joint of the enemy ever went higher than
It's
this
just what the hell is
specified float height,
happening?
some correction velocity would be applied to keep it in balance.
What the hell?
This could be tuned per enemy hit reaction by designers in script. We tried to make this look as natural as possible, while still keeping enemies low enough where they were in range of the axe's melee attacks. It's worth noting
Natural?
that to get this feeling right,
Why not then? Well, we'll see. But then you could address this by speeding up the Well, not speeding up, but like increasing the gravity. So like the launch is quick and they fall down really quickly.
Yeah,
so you have to
they
really,
fall down
But
fast,
then they
yeah.
would be difficult and like combo mads, fucking combo vids.
But this
We
isn't
actually
even
had
combo mad because it's
Anime.
so automated.
It also looks stupid.
Instead
Like
of
the
relying-
whole point of
It's so
combos.
stupid.
The point of
The trick
these
with-
combos, these easy single player combos, is to look cool. But this doesn't even look
always has to
cool.
feel good.
You know what they should have done?
Yeah.
Is they should have it. Okay, when Kratos launches him, he like opens his hand and like a red glow comes out of his hand, and he like
Hovers it?
he's like hovering them with
Yeah,
his
but
hand,
that
and like
would-
a red glow goes around them.
Right,
So
yeah.
he's like hovering them and slashing them. Because this looks fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's like Devil May Cry guns. You know, you're keeping them juggled in there with the guns.
Yeah, he should be using some kind of like hovering magic.
Yeah.
or
Oh
something,
well,
'cause
the sun could have come in
makes
handy.
no
He
fucking
could.
sense.
The sun could be like pummeling them with fucking arrows nonstop.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know. Because the hand, that would require them to redo every single animation from scratch, basically. It would be
This
pretty.
looks insane.
Yeah.
Enemy air reactions also warranted the same technique we used on
Look,
Earth.
it's so fucking weird.
By having invisible impact collisions that hit other nearby
It
enemies.
is so weird.
Except we made them much, much larger than their grounded counterparts.
What the fuck?
Enemies who could fire range projectiles from afar, however, were still always a threat, so players still had to be smart about when they should, and when they shouldn't, juggle an airborne target.
I just don't understand
No,
why
they
even
shouldn't.
have juggles.
That makes no sense.
I
That
don't
makes
even.
No sense.
I don't even understand why have juggles here. Like, what the fuck is the point of them? What
Because
like
they want combos. They
right?
want
But you
combos.
can have combos grounded, and it's basically grounded because the hitbox is still there. The collision
I know.
box, like the Kratos.
That's what I was saying. Why
It's
don't they
so
just
weird.
have grounded standing damage?
I don't fucking get it. Yeah, it's like they just wanted the back of the box feature. This has juggles. Because juggles are cool. This doesn't look cool, right? It does. It
This
nullifies.
looks insane.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, like his actual strikes don't look like anything that would keep them floating.
yeah. It's just very strange. It's like
He's like literally slashing them downward, and they're flying upward.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's-
You either have
What the hell is happening?
Yeah, you either have because you have some weird shit like that with juggle systems as well, or some attacks. But you at least have the counter force of them actually getting juggled. Them actually flying up. So like even though it's kind of dissonant, it still balances out kind of. But this is fucking insanity. I don't know. But yeah, like I think they just wanted the back of the box feature. This game has juggling because the God of War had juggling. I don't know. That is a
Yeah. Look
So,
at that.
after the long journey of development, what did this process yield for us in the end? Was it possible to make a combat system with an
Almost
up-close
done.
and intimate camera feel like an honest evolution of God of War? Not all players might have shared the same experience, and there is still much room to grow in all the aspects I've covered in this talk. But by and large, it was rewarding to see most players engage in our combat in an offensive and confident manner, despite the many issues posed by the new camera. By keeping our combat identity at the forefront of all of our systems for tracking, targeting, and engaging enemies, we were able to work towards gameplay that felt satisfyingly familiar, yet fresh from a new perspective.
Twin Bee
The
has
result was a more
juggling.
deliberate
Oh
and
shit!
unflinching God of War combat experience that felt authentic to the franchise.
That is true.
And this line of thinking and problem
Parodius
solving
as well.
in terms of breaking down your gameplay's identity and keeping it in mind at all times during development.
Oh, the ultimate juggle game, Brave Blade. There you go. Doesn't get more better than that.
To other IPs in any genre, which are similarly going through a challenging reboot or reimagining. Reaching our results took a very, very long time of more than 3 years of constant iteration and testing. And this was a crucially joint problem between our gameplay design and programming departments, and involved many talented people. We needed designers deeply involved with the technical implementation and programmers invested in the design context and player experience. And this was true for both on-the-ground work as well as
Combat
department
does
leadership.
look funky as
As
fuck.
a result, these two
Yeah.
departments worked
Just
very
saying.
closely with each other, both in terms of feature development and proximity at our studio.
It doesn't look as bad as Spider-Man or like
Finally,
Batman
the close
Arkham.
camera
I will
seem-
give it that. It doesn't look as bad as those.
Well, it does help
but-
that. Well, it does help that this actually has some fun dynamics. It does help
Yeah.
that a lot because it's like
Yeah.
But
And how much of it is a downgrade of the original God of War? I actually don't know.
Oh, it's a
because
completely
I don't
different.
even
This
know.
is not even remotely similar. And I think I would like this more than the OG God of War, probably. I don't know. I'd have to play.
Yeah, because I wasn't a huge fan of the OG back in the day.
Yeah, I'm playing it a little bit, and it's not.
So I get them being like, hey, you know what? Like character action combat is not a strength of ours, so let's try to do something different. I get that. But the juggling is absurd.
Yeah,
I just have to say that is
Yeah,
the dumbest shit I've
yeah.
ever
Suck
seen.
the target is already annoying, but the juggling is absolutely fucking bizarre. Yeah, but imagine if they didn't have
You know
this.
what'd be funny to compare this to is those EA Lord of the Rings games. Do you remember
Oh
those?
God, oh no. Yeah, the
What? Those were
Shadow
those
Mortar?
were janky as fuck. But I
Shadow-
remember.
Oh, you
no,
mean the
not
PS2
Shadow Mortar,
ones?
the EA ones,
Oh,
like the
okay,
the two towers and
Right,
the
right.
Return of the King. Do you remember those?
I remember those, but let me
Oh,
see.
I played the fuck out of those. They're janky as shit, but there's like some fundamentals to those motherfuckers.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's streetwise, right? Streetwise. All those
Yeah,
games,
yeah.
by being simpler, they actually. Oh, I remember
You
playing
got-
this fucking
Go
bullshit.
to Helm's Deep. You got to go to Helm's Deep. Helm's Deep.
We're
It's at the end.
at the end.
What's
Okay.
wrong with you?
What? It fucking.
Helm's
I had to barely remember Lord of the Rings.
How dare you? No, you passed it.
I don't have any bad feelings. What? But Helm's Deep. Oh, you mean like how
Oh,
breached
okay.
wall? Okay,
Okay.
okay, breached wall.
No, actually, you're right. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Breached Wall isn't as good as the Courtyard. Because Courtyard, you get
What the
elite-
fuck?
Yeah, baby, get him. It's like so fucking crazy.
I don't know, Mark.
It is
It's looking pretty
fucking
rough.
nuts.
It's looking fucking
It is
brutal.
rough. No, I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's like
What
surprisingly
the fuck am I
fun.
looking? Surprisingly, yeah. Fucking, I don't know what you expect from this one.
But the Return of the King's a lot better. The Return of the King's the sequel is a lot better. I remember that. So we mostly played Return of the King.
No, this looks nice. Okay. Chat.
I didn't say it looked nice. I said it was
Finally
surprisingly fun.
some real combat, fellas.
Yeah, I said it's surprisingly fun. That's all. I mean, look at that snowballing. The enemies do fucking overlap on your ass.
But I mean,
You know what it is though? It's kind of like a Musha, or not a Musha.
Muso.
Sorry, what's that called? Muso. It's kind of like a Muso, but a little bit less Muso-y than a Muso.
It looks fucking stupid. I gotta be honest. It looks
Okay,
really
it is
fucking
stupid.
dumb.
Okay, it's stupid.
This is
but
like-
I'm gonna play
It
it.
reminds me of fucking Mountain Blade Warband. Let me show you that shit.
I'm gonna play this shit on my Steam Deck. I don't care what you say.
Okay. Fuck it. I don't need duels. I need like crowd combat. Let me try to find some.
Is this Western European?
Oh yes,
Eastern
this
European
is fucking European
stuff?
core.
Oh my god, what's with the text?
Oh, only Europeans understand this game. You cannot be if you're American, you
What
play
is
this,
happening?
you will melt. You will fucking disintegrate within seconds.
Okay, this looks way jankier than the
No, trust. This is peak. This is fucking peak. Okay.
Is this a proper Muso?
No. God, fuck. I wish there was a good combat showcase, because what happens is like you run backwards, you walk backwards while a massive fucking army chases you around, and you like fucking like kite them around while slashing at the first person at the front of the fucking army. It's so funny, dude. Naval battle. Oh god.
Oh my god.
I'm scared.
What is this?
I'm scared. Yes. Let's see
Oh
it.
my
Let's see it. Come on, get in there.
This is like For Honor or whatever.
For Honor is a lot more fucking polished than this shit. Oh my god. Oh shit.
Okay, Lord of the Rings is better than
I'm
this.
thinking
Yeah.
that no way, this is fucking peak. This commits. Oh my god. Yeah. So imagine like a giant battle. Imagine like a giant battle with like 300 dudes, and then just this, like you backing away while they're chasing you.
The old peace track. They can't stop it.
The snowballing.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
So good. He's dead. You fucked him up. Oh my god. How can Bog even like these kinds of games?
The Eastern European in him.
Look at him dying.
It's funny. It is funny.
It is. Look. Just fucking. Boom.
Is this supposed to be like Diablo, sort of like that style?
No,
of
this is
combat?
like basically the idea is like simulating medieval warfare.
Oh yeah, exactly like it.
I mean, real. It's like it is a bit more like For Honor or Chivalry and shit in terms of the combat mechanics. It's just the.
Oh, type in what's that Square Enix combat game that's kind of crazy? Like I think it's Bushido Blade. Type that one in.
Bushido Blade.
Put in Bushido Blade tournament. Let's see if we can see any sick tournament.
Oh, it's
footage.
very
And I'll go see.
very fundamental from what I know. It sounds like a.
Yeah, I've always kind of wanted to play it because it's like kind of fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of fundamental simulation-y.
Yeah.
It's got quite a fan
like-
base.
Ooh, really?
Oh yeah, like well,
It kind of reminds me of like this weird version of Soul Calibur. Sort of.
yeah, the fan base isn't big, but they're very vocal, incredibly vocal.
Where?
I don't know.
Where are they?
They just show up randomly. I don't know where they're concentrated, but sometimes you're like talking about fighting games.
Where's the hive mind of these?
I have no fucking.
motherfuckers?
Well, mention it in your server. There's bound to be like one. Like there's always one a guy who's into fucking Bushido Blade. I don't know why. They don't talk about it otherwise, but like just you're talking about.
Yeah, they're like Illuminati. They're just hidden among us.
Yeah, exactly.
Then they
They
appear.
live. No, Ben says no clue how to even explain the appeal of Mountain Blade. Exactly, yeah. So fucking floaty, dude. I kind of like the, back in the day where every attack, they swing and it's like a very
Look at
slow.
the fucking- what the fuck's happening?
3D.
Look at this. He's like side running him.
Yeah, he's like doing like a side. This is full 3D, dude. This is extreme 3D. This fucking DOA. This puts DOA to shame in terms of the
Yeah.
3Dness. Holy shit!
3D, yeah.
Look at that.
It's fully moving.
Not a single attack hit. Jive Turkey, Lushy Lushy.
I wonder how the tracking works. Seriously, the tracking. How does that work?
Let's see.
Like, how do you aim an attack?
Um,
This guy's just side running. How do you
It's-
get around? Do you
well,
have to side run to like?
you
counter
need
it?
to activate the suck. the suck to target system.
Yeah, there's no suck in this.
There's no
Zero
suck in
suck.
this. This is unsuckable.
That girl's kind of cute.
Yeah. Got the white leggings. I love that shit.
Yeah.
Better than Virtua Fighter, Mark.
Oh, don't even.
Ben says, this looks like something we'd play against each other. It really does.
Yeah, we should. We definitely should.
Well, we gotta try the
That'd be a lot of
Toho
fun.
shit, right, as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of want to try Bushido Blade first.
Jesus.
Oh, what if it's like the best fucking game ever?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right?
I mean,
That's the likelihood. You said they're everywhere. Maybe there's a reason.
dude, maybe Krieger is a fan of this.
Oh,
He could be.
I used to think I knew him, but I don't know him.
All right. You're giving up on
I
Krieger
think
now.
I know. I don't. Yeah, his taste. Who knows?
The game doesn't have footsies. Good. Fuck footsies, dude. We're pure
Who
again.
needs footsies? Who needs footsies when you have sight?
This is
on?
footsies. Their feet are touching. What the? What is happening?
I think this is like a cutscene or something.
No, I think this is like
Look
prep.
at the fucking side guns.
What?
What is happening?
And they-
I've never seen a game bold enough to actually do that.
Yeah, well, they call Melee not a fighting game. What the fuck is this then? Jesus Christ. What?
This is a.
What the
action
fuck is the
combat
tracking? What the
simulator.
fuck?
Yeah, I don't know how it works. And neither do these guys.
Where is foot spamming if this is footsies? Don't worry about it. Well, the tip of your blade touches another person's foot, no problem.
Get to the final. I want to see what the final looks like.
Peak. I'm thinking peak.
I want to see the peak. Of, oh shit!
Oh,
semifinals. Look at
the
this
crouch
semifinal.
strat. Oh,
Oh,
my
crap.
god. what is happening?
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh my, what are they doing?
What is happening?
Is this the peak of the game?
Yeah, this is high.
What is happening?
This is the highest level of what of play. Oh,
What the? I think they're trolling.
I think
Look, they're
I think so.
Okay, skip forward. They're just fucking around. There's no way they're actually playing. This is not possible.
No, he's dead. Wait, what? 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 Wait, it counted as a point. Excuse me?
collusion. There's some kind of collusion.
Wait, what? Oh, why is I love that the camera is cut off, so it's like full on fucking Kusogi, just bootleg tournament over here.
Yeah, their ears.
It's so funny.
Right ear versus left ear. What is happening?
Counters?
What the fuck is going on? Why does it look worse? Why do the better players look like they're idiots?
Oh, 1-1. Let's see. They were
What is
crouching because in
happening?
this game you can get hit in the leg and be forced to crouch. Oh, so his limbs were like disabled or some shit.
Oh, that's what it was.
That is.
He was
So,
disabled.
oh yeah, look, his arm is disabled and his leg is disabled. He's like swinging the. Oh my fucking god! Oh my god!
What is happening? Okay, go to the finals. Here we go.
Oh shit!
Semifinals. We need-
Sem-
Oh!
Okay, this
Double
is looking
kill.
good. This is looking good. Wait, where's the finals then? This is just semifinals. There's no.
They probably forgot to change the overlay.
Would fit, to be honest. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna in 5 minutes or so. I'm gonna have to stop.
Okay. Just enough time to see this Bushido Blade magic.
Let's see.
This tournament is sponsored by Brooks.
Yeah. What? Come, fucking. Okay, go. Oh,
Here we go.
oh my
Grand
fucking.
finals.
Go-
Oh, now they're
this,
going.
But this looks dumb as fuck still because he's like trying to swing and hit, and the tracking is failing him nonstop. Look at this.
But it looks
Look,
more
what?
exciting.
Look at that.
Oh!
Uh-oh.
Look at him. Look at him go.
Oh,
One
what?
arm. He's got one arm. Oh!
So wait, this guy just stood and swung. What did he do? The girl, the guy is playing as a girl.
The hardest champion. That's the hardest
What did he do?
champion.
He did not. What did he do? He's like standing, swinging.
He tracked him like a like an
That's-
eagle.
He's not
Look
even
at
moving.
this. Look at this pattern. Oh, parry. Oh, another parry. Now he doesn't have an arm.
He just
Oh, he's
missed.
hitting the wall.
What?
Neck slash. Didn't do nothing. Oh, chop. Oh,
He's
get wrecked, bitch.
okay.
Okay, one more. This is it. They're facing off, toe to toe.
People-
Footsies.
Yeah. Oh
Footsies.
yeah. Oh,
Oh,
he's dead. It's over. It's fucking over.
Don't turn around.
That's the- It's over. It's over.
over.
It's fucking over. Okay. All right.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm thinking Bushido Blade is amazing.
Bushido Blade's the greatest fighting game ever made.
Okay, let me finish off. It's like a minute left. So.
Counterintuitive to almost all aspects of God of War style melee combat. When traditionally good design principles conflicted with vision, the team took a difficult risk and committed to the latter. The process was challenging, and there was a
What do you mean?
lot of doubt throughout development. But it was what the game needed to shine as a whole, what combat needed to evolve in a bold new direction, and at the end of the day, it's what made the journey absolutely worth it. And that's talk. If you're excited by anything I've gone through today and would like to join us on our next journey, please get in touch. We're hiring across many departments, including combat design and gameplay programming. We'd love
Wait, so this is wait. I think I might be watching the wrong video. I watched the wrong video. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, I'm gonna be trapped in the God of War vortex forever.
Oh my god, no!
All right, whatever. Okay. I'll stop the
No
stream.
more God of War. No more God of War.
I'm kind of liking this. I'm liking the videos. All right. Okay. Okay, so I'll stop for now. I'll come back in probably like 20 minutes and keep working instead of just watching. All right.
And I will be sleeping.
All right. See you, Mark. Good night.
Yeah.
See you. All right, fellas. Could you archive this? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm gonna upload the VOD. All right. I'll see you in a bit if you're gonna watch. Or thanks for watching. See you.